In this world, angels live among us. Many great invincible beings of immeasurable power, a bridge between us and the gods. These creatures are not as you might imagine them. While some are human-like in their appearance, most are alien. A sitting mountain, a giant boar, a hovering sphere. Each of the angels provides a powerful boon to the surrounding area and its inhabitants. They do not speak to us. They do not move. We built our world around them. They shaped our cultures. We rely on them. Until something dark came along. Now, one by one, the angels have been slain. The people of the lands around them slaughtered. A wave of death is spreading across our world. Only a few places remain as a final bastion of life. Only a few against an endless horde of oblivion. And within these few, a single band of unlikely heroes, bound by forces beyond their understanding. In this world, there is only a single word that describes their soul-bound connection.
Thrakk, you are sitting in Hard's Tower. This is about a week, a little under a week after the Aurora situation, after the Aurora presented itself, and you as a group were tasked with a few things on behalf of Oz, the elder of this town in Moon. So we're going back a little over a year here. What is Thrakk doing?
I believe I'm doing as I always do. I am studying in the tower. Magics.
What magic?
Nothing. Nothing too out of the ordinary. My room.
Okay. Roll me a D6.
Three.
Do you know the major image spell?
No.
You do. Add it to your character sheet. Some stuff about today isn't going to make sense to you. And I just need you to go with it.
Why wouldn't I? I trust you implicitly.
Yeah. There is, at one point, a bizarre shift in this tower. Do you think Thrakk, at this point, or in general, is he more in tune with his arcane senses or his physical senses?
At this point right now?
Yeah.
Arcane.
Okay, make me an Arcana check. I understand that you can't see the rolls on the screen right now, so we will get to it. But that is a 22. Yeah, something in this tower shifts. It's immediate, the way that you sense this. It's a bit like, you know when you're in a car and you go over a dip and it makes your stomach go. it's that kind of a sensation. Something very bizarre in this tower happens on an arcane level. There's almost a pulse of arcane energy that runs through the tower. It feels like it comes from the bottom of the tower upwards. The tower here is, 3 or 4 levels. You come in from the outside up a huge set of stairs, and there is this huge kind of clock thing on the outside of the tower, but it doesn't tell the time. It doesn't really do anything as far as anyone is ever able to tell. But there is a huge clock thing over the top of the doorway. You come in onto the first floor, or the ground floor, and then you go up, and there are 2 or 3 floors above you, with the very top floor being the place that Hard has instructed you never to go to. You did eventually go to it in our pre-sessions, right at the very end of those, and this is before that. However, you hear a voice come down the stairs. This is a physical thing. This isn't like a message spell or anything. You just hear,
Thrakk! Thrakk!
the voice of Hard calling for you to go upstairs.
I go upstairs.
You go up to the next floor, a sort of living area. Nothing there. You go up to the floor above that. There's some beds. There's some scattered things. Nothing above that. Which means he must be calling you from the very top floor. Again, you've never been into this room before. As you kind of peer up to that doorway, the one room that you were instructed never to go into, you can see that top floor doorway is a little ajar. First time you would ever have seen that.
Okay. I would call out to him. Yes?
Quickly come here.
You... I stop short of finishing that sentence and I go to the voice. Is it coming from inside the room?
Yep, top floor.
Okay, I go inside.
Yeah, you step into this room for the first time ever. The room ahead of you is different to the other times that we've seen you in the future from this point in campaign step into it. The first time that we ever saw you step into this room, it was kind of an open plan thing, as if you'd stepped out onto the roof with this crystal at the center of it, and just a wide expanse of open plains around it. You've been in there before and you saw that it was just like a forest or something on the outside. And this time, as you step into it, you see a room that is... it actually looks quite a lot like what you would expect maybe the top tower, the top room of this tower to actually look like. There are a few windows that look out over, and you sort of glancing out can recognize that you can see the town of Moon out there through these windows. And it's a sort of a circular room for a square tower, which is probably the only oddity as you step into it. It's a little disorienting. There is at the center of this room a kind of a mat, a circular kind of carpeted area, and at the center of that you can see Hard sitting with his legs crossed, surrounded by a kind of a blue arcane energy. As you look at him, his eyes are sort of scrunched closed. His face is kind of tight with concentration. You get the sense that he's really sort of holding together a spell here. He seems to genuinely be struggling. There might be like a little bit of sweat beading on his forehead. He says,
Thrakk, I am currently holding this tower together with nothing but concentration and my very finite mana reserve. This is not a test. This is not a drill of any kind. This is very serious.
holding again his face together. sitting there in just some basic robes as well. He's not wearing any of his usual flair.
Okay. I would assist him immediately.
He holds a hand up to you, palm out, and says,
I need to explain something to you, okay? Just listen carefully. This tower is not mine. I did not create it. I am one of very many wizards that have lived and stayed here. You, when I am gone, will inherit this place, if you wish. However, you must learn now the deep secret of this place. There is a great magic. I think possibly the most powerful magic outside that of the angels themselves, deep within the bowels of this tower. From the outside it looks as if there are 3 or 4 levels to this place, but I believe the floors are infinite.
He struggles for a moment, his hands tightening. You see him kind of like gripping an invisible something and kind of pulling together his hands as if he's genuinely physically struggling with holding on to 2 pieces. He says,
There are 99 towers of eternal nexus here on Gaia. When you enter any of these locations, the insides remain the same. You will always enter the bottom floors. However, when you exit, if you choose, you can exit at any of the other locations, the other towers. The clock on the outside is not a clock. When you are able to read it, you can use it to calculate where you are, even what time it is, as in what date and year. I have never been good at using it for that, but as you grow in power, I suspect you may have a greater grasp of it. Something has happened. Out there.
for the first time, he opens his eyes and glances out of the window. His eyes kind of flick towards the sky. He says,
Thor's whispers of Ragnarok. His portents and omens suggest he may not be entirely wrong. I spent some time last night moving from place to place. Darkness, a blight is present in the Midlands. It is moving quickly. However, whatever it is has disrupted the wheel. The wheel is what powers this tower. When you have the skill, the understanding, you can manipulate the wheel. And you can use this tower to its fullest potential. The more powerful the mage, the more attuned to the tower, the greater the precision, the understanding, the skill.
he stops again, and for a few moments he just seems to be kind of muttering under his breath, a bizarre kind of ancient language as he's kind of pulling together these two pieces again. He kind of shifts in the way that he's sitting, as if he's kind of gripping something under one arm and holding something closer to his chest. After a few moments of sort of chanting and incanting, he says,
The night of the Aurora. The wheel became disrupted. I wasn't aware of it at first, but something is wrong. At the very last moment this morning, I managed to stop the wheel from turning any further. Even another millimeter and I believe you and I and the other denizens of this tower would have been obliterated. Who knows what kind of damage it would have done to the surrounding location. Not just of this tower, but of all of them. Thrakk, you are not ready. Truly. I mean it in no way as a slight against your skill. You are a powerful mage. You have the potential within you to become truly one of the greats, not just of our age, but of all time. But you are young. You are green in more ways than one, and you are not ready for this knowledge. It will, I suspect, affect you in very dangerous ways to seek out the wheel, to interact with it, to command it. But that is what you must do. And you must go now. Not a moment to spare. I'd suggest gathering your comrades. This mark that you find yourself with them, it is very special. It links you in many ways, in ways even I do not understand. But it makes you stronger. Much stronger. When you are ready, descend into the basement.
You had no idea there was a basement.
You can access the basement via the trapdoor in the kitchen. You have never been able to see it, I suspect, but perhaps now that you know, you will. Go now. When you are done, we will need to speak again. Seeking the wheel will be difficult, but I believe in you, my apprentice.
I nod at him, and Thrakk sort of turns to mist in front of him and appears in the lowest level.
Yep.
There I run to the basement and search for this trapdoor.
Yeah, it's in the kitchen area. So you run to the area where there's like a small, and it really is just a tiny little kitchen area in the corner of one of the rooms, the living area. Just like a stove, a pot, a kettle, some I would imagine, honestly, that the way that Hard lives, and potentially even you, with the constant distraction and the need for knowledge, it's kind of like living like a student accommodation with there's probably pots and pans and dirty cups and things. A little thaumaturgy or a little spell just deals with it much quicker, but it's kind of a messy general area. As you step to the sort of into the kitchen and look around, it looks almost exactly the same as it always has to you. Make me an Arcana check.
Would I be able to just ask one of the people using the kitchen?
One of the people using the kitchen?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Are there not other people in this tower
No.
that we've just never spoken about before? No. Okay.
Well, there might be, but you've never seen anyone else. It's been you and Hard the
Okay.
entire time you've been here over the many years.
All right. Damn. Yeah, you want Arcana?
Yes, please.
15.
15, yeah, you're looking about, and you're looking with your eyes, and after a moment you maybe think to yourself, that's not the way to do this. A very similar way that in the previous episode, it was some weeks ago for us now, but the way that you were able to see the kind of the weave and pull at the certain threads of different types of magic. You almost kind of see through everything, and very matrix binary code, start to see the world in a completely different dimension, the dimension of magic, and you can see it running through everything, coursing through the air, and then localizing your thoughts, your vision, your insight, your knowledge. You're able to recognize a particular strand here of illusion. By concentrating on that strand, and I'm going to word this in the way that I see it, but it is not necessarily canonical to how you would do it or how the world works. This is just the only way I can sort of describe magic, and I'm describing it as a weave with threads of the different schools of magic, but it could be anything. There could be any number of ways that any number of different wizards might interface with this, but you might find the thread for illusion. And in doing so, you almost dispel the magic. It isn't that the illusion and the enchantment is broken. It's more like you can see now. You recognize that there's a spell there. You recognize that there was an illusion above a very, very simple looking and small trapdoor that just sits in the very center of the kitchen area. The type of thing that you would just reach down and lift up. It doesn't even look locked.
Okay. I open it.
You open it, pulling it up. There is it actually takes a decent amount of strength, partially because it feels like this thing hasn't been opened in a while. but partially because as you lift this up, it is a chunk of wood that comes up, a really thick piece of flooring that lifts up here, and you shoulder it open, and below you there is a set of stairs they're very steep and very thin, small looking steps that lead directly downward.
Okay. I go down the steps.
Okay, you're going to just do this entire episode without the pie, even though you're instructed to go and get them?
Oh, well, you said go down to the basement and get something. I thought we were doing that first and then go get the pie.
No. You have to go and get your entire pie and
Why
then
would
go
I need that?
into the basement.
I can do everything they can do.
I mean, it's possible.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll go and get them.
Yeah. Okay.
Should we just...
We can fast forward through it. Yeah, you rush into town. Moving... who do you go for first? Sia and Jildan are usually at the Longhouse. However, Cirrus could be at any number of places. She might even be with the Angel in the other side of the lake. She could be up at the cloister that's up by the mountains. She could just be in town somewhere collecting things. What's the intention and what's the order of collection here? Bear in mind, Jildan and Sia you really have not known very long, but you do at this point. You are aware of them.
I would go to whoever's closest, which I think would probably be them, because I think Cirrus is probably the furthest away.
Okay. Yeah, you rush to the sort of the longhouse. There's a communal longhouse here. It's essentially a tavern, but it's one of those Viking longhouses with the long tables that run down all of them. A huge set of doors at the front. A sort of
actually no, that's a terrible idea. Can I take that back? I'm just gonna I'm gonna pull a lever that takes me to sort of a higher floor on the tower, and then I'm gonna jump out the window and fly and go get Cirrus.
Right, okay. Yeah, where do you go first?
I fly to go get Cirrus. She's in the temple.
She's in the temple. Alright, you know that?
Do I know that she's in there?
Yeah.
I'm guessing.
Okay. Cirrus, are you in the temple?
Yeah, I'm in the temple.
Yeah. There's a point where you're doing whatever it is you do in the temple, burning some sage, reading through some ancient scripture, maybe just kind of moving around with some of the other people that are cloistered within the temple. That Thrakk flies into the opening of the temple itself, landing, maybe skidding a little along some of the cold, the ice. There's probably a thin layer of ice on everything here, including the stone of the temple itself. And yeah, what do you do, Thrakk?
If I might, my flying is real strange. It looks like I'm running through the sky. I'm just
That's
running.
amazing.
Have I seen it before?
Maybe. But yeah, so it just looks like I'm in a full-on sprint through the sky, holding my staff, and like my cape is billowing behind me. And then I just run in through the window.
Oh, Thrakk, hello. Everything all right?
Yes, everything's fine, but I need you to come with me. Would it be alright if I, dragged you along?
Do you mean literally drag me along, or am I able to
it won't be painful. I will, cast a spell on you, which will make it easier, but we don't have a lot of time.
Oh, all right. Okay then.
So,
I turn to who I'm walking with and I say, I will be back.
Okay, I don't even acknowledge them. I cast levitate on her, and she's now, light as a feather, and I just pull her up, grab her by the waist, and I just start running.
Running through the sky.
Through the sky.
Run straight out of this place, and you
it's
are
the Howl's Moving Castle moment.
Whisked out.
It's just
and then I assume taken to the communal longhouse.
That's right.
Landing out of the front. Yeah. What do you say?
I would go for, I know that she's just sitting in her room. Or she's getting her toes,
Jilden.
Yeah, she's probably getting her toes cleaned out or something.
No doubt in my mind that's what's happening, but let's find out what a Jilden and Seer doing.
So the trick is, you see, wait till they're not looking. If you order another drink, they usually put your back to you, so you can just look in their back pockets. Yes, he's that one over there, the tall one. He usually carries all the cash right there.
Right.
Yes, you see, he's stitched his pocket. That's because I've slit it open about 3 times now. He still doesn't know it's me.
There's a slight commotion at the sort of main doors of the communal longhouse as 2 people who have been living here for some time but are not Goliaths and are kind of slightly outsiders land from the sky. And you sort of recognize this, Seer and Jilden.
What's that about? Go have a look for me. I'm rather enjoying not having my shoes on for once.
Do you even... Never mind. I get up. You wear shoes?
Hey, you know, sandals, shoes, whatever. Crust, whatever you want to call it.
You wear crust. It grows back. It
I don't know
gets
if I
sanded
wear
down.
it. It wears me.
Right.
Most of the time. What is happening out there? Why is it so noisy?
I wonder. I turn to the door.
Yeah, Thrakk is striding in.
Yes, I'm about 3 inches off the ground walking, and I've got Cirrus hoisted under one arm, and I say, grab on to my back. We've got to
Well, I mean, only if you're going to carry me like that. I immediately, flustered.
hold on to this. I hand you my staff, and do you hold it for me, or do you just stare at me? Jilden.
We're quite friendly at this point, I think, so. Okay, sure.
You take my staff. I cast levitate on you.
And I will climb up the
And,
staff to get as close as I can to you.
I try to wrap my arm around you. I think I can get around the shell, probably. So I'm carrying both of you, one under one arm, and I look to the little drow, and I say, "Climb on my back," and I cast levitate on him as well. So it's
As he
real
says
easy.
that, I jump from where I am, kick off the wall, the beam supporting the building, and deftly land like a feather on his head, and then go crisscross applesauce on top of his head.
And what? This is where the entire campaign gets unraveled because I killed Sia right now. He's dead. Okay, I fly back to the tower.
Yeah, you guys are whisked back to the tower. Again, none of you have been in this tower, I don't think. And you are taken into this up this steps, or maybe just flown straight into an open window into the kitchen area, presumably. There is a strange sense as each of you does pass over the threshold of this tower of that kind of, and Thrakk, you feel it again too, that unstable magic feeling that you have a sense of and will have a sense of the entire time you're here. I don't know if the other three would necessarily immediately understand what that sense is, but there is an odd energy to the tower as you pass through the window or the doorway or whatever he drags you through. It's not a huge sensation, but there is some sort of an odd sense to this tower at the moment. Presumably Thrakk drags you all. You're probably all looking around and trying to take in your surroundings and what this tower looks like. There's all sorts of strange gadgets and artifacts and things. Seer is kind of probably looking over all of them with his many eyes. Before you are taken, probably ushered towards the basement, or this trapdoor. I don't know how Thrakk does this, but are you just ushering them straight there and sending them in?
Yeah.
Marching them down the steps?
We must go down into the basement immediately.
Oh, what's it got down there? What is it?
You haven't
I've never been
mentioned
down
why
there.
yet. One moment, I know I hopped on because of the novelty, but why exactly are we here? Who's summoning us?
Odd.
Right, and remind me again, who is this Hard?
He's my teacher, and he currently resides in this tower, and he needs our help immediately. I suspect if we do not help him, half of Moon will be destroyed.
Yeah, but we can't be having that, can we? I'm not done here yet.
All right, I immediately start striding towards the basement door.
All right.
Okay,
And
Okay.
I follow.
Yeah. Each of you steps into the this trapdoor, and again, it's a tight squeeze, probably for Jildan and Thrakk with their slightly larger statures, as they sort of get down into this trapdoor and then start descending these steps. For a few steps, it's quite dark, but as you start moving down them, the walls begin to light up. There's a red hue, a sort of a reddy orange hue to the brick here that glows, as if these things are just light up bricks. It's a strange sensation as you're stepping down, because this would look almost like modern tech to us as you're stepping down these steps and the walls start lighting up, and it's just the wall is alight. But it's just a magic response as you start moving down, casting this glow. The steps again are very thin and difficult to step down, and you're walking down here for some time. Thrakk, give me another Arcana check, please.
Uh, 20.
20. You start to recognize that you're walking. You walk for 5 minutes. You walk for 10 minutes, and you're stepping down into this thing. The steps and the walls are the same. You realize now you're stepping down the same, like 20 steps, the four of you, constantly. When you look back above you, you can kind of see the trapdoor entrance and the sort of natural daylight coming in from that. When you look down below you, it's just kind of endless steps into darkness. The walls next to you light up as you approach them, but they sort of stop seemingly lighting up as you restart this process. The room itself is almost just a mirror as you're wandering downwards.
You said the room is a mirror.
Yeah, you're kind of caught in this endless hallway right now.
Right, okay. Can I, I'd like to see if this is a magic that I could just dispel.
Yeah, give me another Arcana check.
A 25.
Absolutely, you can dispel this. It doesn't require anything more than the ability to recognize again that this is sort of an enchantment. It's a sort of minor abjuration spell just to keep out anyone who might have stumbled into this area, to make sure that no one accesses the actual sub-basement level. Almost, and this is nowhere near as difficult for you this time as sort of plucking that one thread, but almost as soon as you recognize that this thing is magic and that you're kind of trapped in this endless hallway, the magic dispels and the bottom of the hallway presents itself. It is bizarre, and this happens for all of you as Thrakk sort of just unconsciously, almost mentally dispels this magic. A light fills the room. It's more of that orange-red hue, and you look down and you see just it's no longer a tiny little hallway. It's a set of steps that lead down to what kind of at first looks like a subterranean garden. There are hedges of circular shapes and there's an almost natural light coming down from one side that's providing this strange red and orange hue over a gigantic sort of maze-looking landscape. You can see that this maze is it spreads out endlessly. You also notice that the hedges, the stone, the walls, the pillars, the rooms and chambers that make up this kind of endless maze that opens up ahead of you and begins to kind of turn in on itself. Again, another kaleidoscope of mirrors. It's kind of a bizarre trick of the eye as these things open up, but the walls and the hedges and the rooms and the chambers begin to slowly shift and move ahead of you. As you start to step down the steps again, the maze gets closer and closer, the walls and hedges get taller and taller, and you sort of lose that bird's eye view perspective of it endlessly shifting, and you step down into the sort of first chamber of what is now essentially a huge maze. When you make it to the bottom of the steps, you come to a very bland looking room. There is a kind of a plain set of stone flooring. There are some relatively plain walls, but there are this is a strange looking area. There is an almost dollhouse looking feel to this room. Stepping towards you and out from one of the sides of this room, the first chamber of this endless maze, or maybe flying out, is a small bony creature.
Yes? Yes! It's been a long time since I've had guests. Hello?
A very tiny dragon, a pseudo dragon, flies out from behind what looks like a little hutch that you might keep a guinea pig in or something like that. This kind of creature sights you, but it's almost entirely bones. This thing almost looks like an undead creature with blue arcane energy for eyes, and a sort of a sense of magic holding it together. The wings flicker like a hummingbird as this thing flies out and starts to hover over towards you. You recognize it very quickly as a pseudo dragon, a very familiar for wizards. You don't get a sense of any sort of danger or anything off of this creature immediately, and
Thrakk, I didn't realize you had friends.
Friends. Friends. I do not know you. Green.
Is he safe? Is he going to steal our hands and our fingers and our toes? Is he going to steal my foot crust?
Hold on. I need to understand. You're smart. You're a smart orc. It's a very smart orc.
I do not know this creature.
I'm Yerd. Hello, Yerd. Oh.
Yeah.
This isn't funny, Thrakk.
Are you dragonkin? There's dragon in you. Is that
I think it's talking to
a
you,
turtle?
Cyrus.
A turtle!
Yes, keen eyes, yes. That's right. How much did Thrakk pay you to tell him he's intelligent? I bet it was a lot. 10 gold? 15?
I don't know what a Thrakk is. You're young. You're very young.
I tap Thrakk on the shoulder with my staff.
What's happening? What is this thing?
Dragonkin,
I don't know.
there's a shadow in you. Is that magic or is that doubt?
I'm sorry. Are you speaking to me?
kin. They're family.
Right. Sorry, what did you ask?
It's not important. Turtle,
Yes, little thing.
there's red on your face, but there's more on your hands. What did you
I did,
do?
I washed my hands.
No, you can't wash
Everett.
that off.
Well, that's none of your business, you precocious little bag of bones.
Oh, is that the eyes of the mother? You're an interesting drow. Hard life you've had. I'm sorry. Why
I
are
look
you
at
all here?
I
We
turn away
have
from it.
been sent here by the current occupant of the tower.
But why? Just did they want to sit with me?
No, it's urgent.
The wheel. Oh,
Yes.
okay. Well,
Do people
then
come to
we
sit
need
with you often?
Wait, yes? Oh, okay.
Oh, sorry, I meant to ask. Do people come to sit with you often?
Oh, I thought you were saying your butt. Oh, no. No, but that's okay. It's not bad here. I have all the things I need, mostly. It's okay.
Why were we sent here to babysit you?
No,
I see.
no,
Not
the
looking at
wheel. You need to go. You have to go into the maze. I'll go with you if you want, but you have to go in if we're going to fix it.
What are we fixing? We're fixing something.
Yeah,
You're
What,
getting
you
paid for
can't
this and you
feel?
didn't tell us.
No. We don't use money here. You know this.
Well, you don't. Some of us have a bit of a market going on. What's broken?
If it's a mechanic you're looking for, I think you found the wrong three folk for this.
No, you'll do.
I got big meaty hands, not very good at fine work, you see.
What do you need of us?
Just help. But we should get going. We shouldn't linger. You don't feel everything's moving. It's bad.
Do I feel anything? Do I feel anything?
You can roll me an Arcana check. Or are you genuinely asking if you sort of feel like a rumbling or?
I'm curious to know if I'll sit and take stock as he says that. And
Yeah,
Yeah.
perception check as well.
It's 11 on the
Can
Arcana.
all of us do that?
Yeah.
11
Oh.
for both.
11 and 11.
Nice.
A 7 on an Arcana check from Sia.
7 and an 8.
An 8
The low
on
rolls continue.
perception, 15 Arcana, Cirrus, 17 Perception, Cirrus. I think Cirrus, you're the only one who really feels anything. There is a sort of an odd, almost a rumbling that you feel to this whole area. It's very low. You feel it both physically. It's like a ticking more than a rumbling, I think. You also sense something like an arcane kind of bloated energy, as if something any moment is ready to pop or burst to the whole area.
Yes, I do. I do.
Okay.
All right. What shall we do then?
We need to go forward into the first room. What's it gonna be? Can I sit on somebody's shoulder, please?
Oh, I instinctively just like crouch down and put my hand out.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
thank you.
flickers over to you, sort of moving through the air like that hummingbird style. You see he kind of just like very easily and very comfortably, as if he's done it hundreds, thousands of times before, kind of floats around one side of your head, resting across both of your shoulders. His tail kind of curling over your left shoulder, his claws comfortably and not, uncomfortably gripping into you, but sort of resting onto your right.
I regard the creature with disdain and distrust and follow behind.
Of course. Yes. Who's leading the group? There is really only one way to go here. There is one doorway. Well, there's two. There's back, all the way back up the steps, or through a single doorway into a hallway out of this little hutch area.
I'll go first.
Okay, Thrakk. Thrakk starts leading you all, stepping into the maze. True. You walk for a little while. The kind of strange sensation of this maze is immediately thrust upon each of you as you're moving through a hallway. Again, that kaleidoscope sensation as the hall moves around you as you take each step. Mirrors upon mirrors, kind of fractal images start to move away from the room. The colors and the changes, the stone becomes grass underfoot. The daylight shifts to a kind of a blue hue, then a darkness. In the mirrors of this kaleidoscope, as you're moving through this hallway, you actually see yourselves, but you see yourselves walking through different landscapes and green meadows, forests, cities. Some even appear to be deep underwater in different parts of this fractal kind of mirror kaleidoscope sensation. And generally moving through this maze is going to feel like that. Each room might appear about you in different ways, and you guys are now playing a little mini game here. I did something similar to this in Oracle's Rest once, but I don't know who was there for it because I can never remember who's in what. But here is the maze. I've given you a little area on the right here to just literally scribble on this. This is your time to sit and write on the map.
Yes!
No, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. This is a trick. This is a trap.
This is the only way to do this. You can write and draw on this map as much as you want. It might confuse you. Just don't draw a penis.
I was that close.
Now you move from the hutch here into this next room. So I'm just going to give that to you, and I'm going to give you an idea of how you might want to process this and approach this kind of map here. And it is going to be doing something like this. The only way in and out of this room, as you walk into it, I will describe to you as you move from room to room, but you can essentially go, and there's a reason that there's this compass on the left, northwest, east, south, doorway going from here to here. So you can leave this room west and go back the way you came. There is also a doorway here. You can go south out of this room, and you can go east out of this room. From now on, I'm going to leave all of this up to you to track where you guys can go, but there's a good example of how I would approach this maze. You step through this kaleidoscope hallway, this fractal nightmare, and you move through that sort of unstable magic. There is no logic to this maze in terms of what you're looking at. However, moving from room to room does remain the same for now. For example, moving from room A to room B and then back to room A will work. I'm not going to fuck with you. The maze is kind of technically moving, but for now they're going to remain there unchanged. So you can go from A to A, B to B, that kind of thing. And you step from, this hutch through these hallways and into a room that has a very plain-looking granite bust with a very calming presence to it, sat in a really very unbelievably plain room again after the kaleidoscope that you've walked through with all of the different colors and things. You move into a very basic looking cobblestone floored stone room. It is a relatively small room as well. It's probably only about 15 feet across and maybe 20 feet high. There are no windows. There is the 3 doors, west, east, and south. And there is simply a bust in here. And this is the altar of the first. And you can see the bust is, again, a very plain looking granite bust with a sort of an older looking human man on the depicted here. The only thing that's bizarre about this bust is that the left ear has an actual black feather hanging from it, from an earring, and that is really all that's in this room. As you move into this room, you feel the wings on Yid flickering against the back of your hair and neck, Cirrus, as if he's sort of almost a little excited to be in here.
Closer. Get closer, please. Get closer.
All right.
Yes. This is the builder. This was my first master. Hems was good with changing things. He was good at moving through things. I miss Hems.
The builder, he was your first master.
Yeah.
And he lived here with you?
He did, and we went to so many places together. He saved me a long time ago, and I didn't know much about anything, and he said, well, I'll show you, and I went, oh, okay. And then he took me places, and he moved through the world like a bird through the air, and I miss him.
I'm very sorry.
As you are sort of moving closer, Cirrus, and looking over this figure, it is certainly not Hard. I don't know if Seer and Jilden will have ever seen or met Hard. Probably not, definitely not met him, but maybe, Cirrus, you've seen him once or twice around town. Hard is a Goliath. He's quite a small Goliath in terms of Goliath size and things, with these kind of he wears sort of pretty crazy robes and things. But what you're looking at here, now that you get closer, is an elderly human with large eyebrows, a large beard, hair sort of pulled back into a bun, with this black feather hanging out of one ear. This is certainly not the wizard that owns this tower or lives in this tower and has been training Thrakk this whole time.
With my arms crossed, I hear Year talk about their first master, and what kind of, I guess, do I buy what they're saying? What kind of, what am I feeling from this creature as it tells all this?
Give me an insight check.
Alright, insight check. 20.
I'd say he seems very truthful to you. He doesn't really... You get an almost childlike sense from this creature, even though you also get this sense of arcane knowledge, as if this pseudo-dragon has been alive for presumably a long time and has seen a lot of things. It's not necessarily that this creature is childlike in its intelligence or in its potentially in its wisdom, but almost just the way that it interfaces with the world is a sort of childlike wonder. And in the same way that children are not very good at lying, you get the sense that this thing probably isn't very good at lying either. So you do get the sense that the way that this creature is speaking and the tone and the way that the creature sort of looks and moves around Sirius's shoulders and gets closer to the bust, kind of looking over. The eyes, it doesn't have eyeballs, it just kind of has glowing blue mist where its eyes would be, do sort of oddly seem to soften as it looks at its first master. And yeah, I think you get the sense that this creature is being pretty truthful, and so far has been truthful with you.
My arms remained crossed as I stare at the creature, still not quite sure exactly what's going on here.
He really likes sweets. He liked to eat sweets, so he would get different kind of sweets and pies sometimes. He was a good master.
Sounds like it.
Yeah.
How many masters have you had?
Not enough.
What does that mean? Not enough. Who's your master now? Where is he? I want to speak with him.
Well, I mean, so here in the tower right now is my master right now.
And he keeps you locked up down here, does he?
That's not
Like
very nice,
that?
is it?
No. I'm not like. Was there a lock on the door? There shouldn't have been a lock on the door in the
I
kitchen.
believe there was one. In the kitchen.
No.
There wasn't a lock.
Not that I saw.
No.
Anyway, that's between you and your master. I just take a step back and look around the room.
No, that's fine. No, I'm not locked up. I live here, and it's nice.
Can you get out whenever you want to?
Sure.
Oh,
But
well,
why?
it's nice out there. There's food and things.
When I get food. How do I? Have you ever been outside for a long time, and then you get
Yes.
to like a tavern, and you're like, I just want to go inside and just lay down in front of a fire for a while?
Oh, well, now you're speaking my language, yes. Now I understand
Well-
completely.
I'm gonna do that for a century or two, I think. Just lay by the fire.
You know, I think this thing's got life figured out. Should learn a thing or two.
Thank you.
Well, he has the time to figure it out, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
With that being said, apparently time is not of the time is of the essence here. So, what are we doing here exactly? I say again and look around the room.
Well, Dragonkin, can you put your hand on the head of my master, please?
Right, me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, of course. I put my hand on the bust.
Yeah, as soon as you do so, a small glowing wisp appears above your hand. It runs up your arm and then just sits floating above your head. Just a little tiny translucent blue orb. You instinctively understand that you can use this orb to see one room ahead, but it will be consumed.
Oh.
It helps.
What do you think? Should I use it? You're
No. Not
Yeah.
yet.
all right.
No, it's good. It's really good. It's extra good, but I wouldn't use it yet. I would give it a little bit. I mean, you can use it. I'm just saying it might be better later.
I trust you.
What is the history of this place? What is its significance? You said the end of the world, the wheel. You're not necessarily making any sense, creature.
Okay. I mean, what's the point of any place? It's for where people are. This is a place for where people are too. It's just this place is in. It's not just this place. I don't think you're gonna understand. This place. It's a road. It's It's like a okay. Listen. This will make sense. Okay, let's say there are two towns, and the towns know each other, and there's a road between the town. But then there's a big storm, and there's a lot of water, and the water goes over the road and it digs up the road. But then now the carts can't get across. Okay, does that make sense so far?
Right, yes, natural disaster, go on.
Okay, so this is like that. This is a road, and we don't want it to be washed out.
Between which town and what other town?
No, it's bigger than that. It's not. This is a metaphor. I don't know how else to say it. It's important though. For those two towns, they need to be able to move back and forth. Okay, and just like here, my home, it needs to move in every direction.
Very well.
Hey, what's in it
Trust
for
will be
us?
more literal when we get there.
I try to see if the door it's just a regular door, exactly.
Yep.
I try to see if it's unlocked, the one that goes to the east.
One to the east. You turn the little doorknob, and it opens.
Yeah.
Again, it's a very plain-looking wooden door, and it actually feels very brittle and thin as you turn this thing and open it. As you open it, you can see that there is another one of those kaleidoscope hallways that it opens into. But it is open.
Well, I turn back. Well, does anyone say anything or make any sort of...
Turning
We
back
have been
to the-
talking, but you said well, so we're listening. Speak up, Orc.
Did you say that in character?
Right, yes. Speak up.
I'm sorry, I thought you were intelligent enough to understand what I meant when I said well. While
Oh, there's a
holding the
well
door
somewhere.
Well.
What's in it for us here? What are we doing? Why are we doing this? Surely there's someone more qualified.
I'm
Open.
here.
I
Been called
believe-
here.
No, you're fine. It's
I don't
fine.
know
You
where-
have
Oh,
cure.
wait.
It's fine. It's fine. Just move forward. It's fine.
What
You
did he
can't guess
say?
everything you do. Sometimes you just go forward.
Well,
Well, I've got no reason not to, I suppose. Now I'm already down here. You have to find a way out, though. I'm not climbing those stairs all the way back up again. If they weren't for the stairs, I'd be all the way back up there.
Stairs are
already.
bad. I don't like
Yes,
them.
yeah, they're quite bad. Yes, this is a trap, you see. I'm not falling for this next time, Thrakk. Taking me down a bunch of stairs and expecting me to make my way back up again. You know my knees hurt. I've told you lots of times.
I didn't realize you had knees.
I thought you were smart
I give
enough
him
to
a
realize the portal had
dumbfounded
knees.
look.
Yeah, I'm also confused. Turtles have knees. Of course they do.
Why did you think I
Suzanne.
had? You ever... Is there how little attention you pay to me? I'm wounded.
I'm gonna ask her to give you a book in anatomy.
You should do that. It sounds like you need
Yeah,
it.
GM, do turtles have knees?
I think it's more up to Jilden than anyone. I mean, yeah. They must.
yeah.
They just
do.
waddle on wishbones is what they
I
do.
love that you asked me as if I like the GM is the person who I created this race.
Well-
No, I can explain. If turtles did not have knees, they would run like pirates with two peg legs.
Exactly.
It doesn't run like pirates.
I sort of always imagined that her waddling around on two little
I
dinosaur
don't waddle.
legs.
I shuffle. There's a difference.
Okay.
Yes, she has the ability. She just chooses not to use it.
Well, without insulting your intelligence too much, Orc, I suppose let's move then, shall we?
Yes, come on. Come on. I'm missing all of the drama. She said there was going to be a bar fight tonight. I was orchestrating it. Had it all planned out.
I go through the door.
Okay,
To the
going
east.
to the east. Again, you sort of step through another kaleidoscope hallway, a bizarre world of broken fractal images of yourselves walking through different areas. You step out into a lush room filled with exotic plants. There is a blue sky above you. You actually step into what is essentially a greenhouse. You're looking at you open a door and step into a very large greenhouse filled with foliage, exotic plants, and a sort of a winding pathway that moves further into this greenhouse. Again, it is sort of daytime, but the sense of heat that hits you suggests that you're not really in Moon, in the cold. It is a warm climate and the sun is beating down. As you look out over the landscape, you actually see grass in the distance. You get a very slight hint of the coast, the sea or an ocean in the distance as well. There's the sound of seagulls, and there is the just the sense of bugs and buzzing of insects in this greenhouse. That heat hits you pretty hard, I think, as you step through. You also notice that at the very center of this entire area, there is a sort of a large glowing crystal nestled among some of the foliage, kind of emanating a magical energy. But the pathway seems to head further into this area.
This is the verdant greenhouse, and I get to I get to attend it sometimes. Does it look nice?
It's very
That's
beautiful.
very
Yes.
nice.
It's very
I
overgrown.
immediately
but
see
there's
how many
lots
exits
of
there are from this room.
colors. It's extremely overgrown. You need to kind of do a little walking around, but you can do so as you start sort of moving around this greenhouse. It's a kind of move through different areas of this thing. It's a pretty big greenhouse. We're talking one of those like super large greenhouses that you might find on a very rich estate. It's not like a little thing, but it's not so enormous that it's like a ridiculous thing. As you start moving around, you find that there are two doorways, the one that you came through and another one that goes to the east.
Point of order, is there anything stopping us from splitting up? Like, is there an effect that happens, or are we just following each other right now?
In this room or in the maze?
Just the maze in general. Like, when we decided to go through the door, did we just all plop in here, or did we just follow each other through?
Yeah, you all followed each other through. You walk from a doorway into a bizarre hallway of sort of kaleidoscope mirrors, and then you walk for a few minutes and then come into this room and walk through another doorway. There is nothing, as you open the door again and look down the hallway, it's just a kind of a dark, bizarre kaleidoscope of images. But it isn't, there is no sense of like teleportation exactly. Even though it's an extremely bizarre sensation to just walk a few minutes and be in a different like climate and different completely like outside and stuff. There's nothing technically splitting you up. No, you could all split up and run around in this place. You might never find each other again, or you might run into something dangerous, but there's certainly nothing stopping you from splitting the party.
Right.
Does everyone see the little crystal there? You can have it. That's okay.
Hey, really?
Yeah, the crystal, as Jildan, you sort of recognize
Hover over.
what he's talking about, is growing out of a plant like a fruit. There is a set of leaves that sprout upwards, and attached to some of the green of the plant here is this crystal, as if it's provided it, and it's ripe and pluckable.
I reach up to pluck it.
Okay. Yeah, you now have this item. This is an item that inexplicably you may have in the future in your pack as well. This is the Crystal of Growth. Any plant touched by this crystal grows to maturity in seconds.
Sprout. Better have a.
It worked out
If
really
you
well.
do that, Sprout will never be able to be carried again.
Well, that sounds like your problem.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not carrying your tree for you.
Not
That
yet.
took a lot of fertilizer, just so you know.
What do you use for fertilizer down here?
Fertilizer?
What is it? What is it? What is fertilizer?
Oh, it's or night soil. You'd be surprised the sort of magic that's in that.
And is
Look
there
at-
more of these?
I held up the crystal.
It'll take a
No.
while to grow a new one.
Oh. It's quite nice. It's very shiny. Look at the quality of that thing.
Out of character, is that crystal single use or?
Nope, you can use that forever. Amendment, any living plant touched by this. So, for example, if you were using it in that blighted forest, it wouldn't work. It'd have to be like a little, it'd have to be alive.
Okay.
Looking around the greenhouse, the plants that are here, are they from the local area or are they from around the world? Do I recognize these plants? Are they like all strange like this crystal plant?
Yeah, give me a nature check.
A nature check, because I'm amazing at nature with a 16.
16 is pretty good. You recognize that they seem to be from all over. You get the sense that it's a collection of lots of different plants. They're not all exotic, and they're not all arcane in nature. The one that the crystal was plucked from was probably adjusted by one of the wizards that lived in this tower at some point. Whoever created this greenhouse, or maybe whoever's been tending it before yeared, probably messed with some sort of magic to create a plant that generates magical artifacts of some sort. But there are lots of exotic plants that you recognize from different parts of the world, from all over Gaia, and there are lots of just general plants and trees and ivies and things like that are from different places. Even looking outside, you're not really sure where you are, but it's certainly not Moon anymore. But yeah, they seem to be from all over.
Are there loose stones around?
Yeah, I'd say so, probably.
I pick one up and throw it as hard as I can to the ceiling,
All right.
which looks like a sky.
Yeah, I guess just make me a dex check. Roll me a dex roll.
A dex roll, okay. 15.
A 15. Yeah, you just yeet this thing straight up into the sky. It cracks the glass of the greenhouse roof. A little tiny
Oh,
appears in the glass, and then the stone comes landing down somewhere in the distance.
Oh, sorry, we're in an actual greenhouse. I thought you said we had the blue sky above us. I thought we
Either
had like an
above the
infinite-
greenhouse, yeah. So
I
you're in a
see.
legit greenhouse right now.
Right.
Like
my
one of
impression
those-
was
I
it was
can't-
like a greenhouse.
What's that place in London called where they do the flower
Kew
show?
Gardens.
Yeah, that kind of. It's kind of like that, but on a smaller scale.
Right.
Yeah, you'd get that. You can't see one, but you'd imagine there might be a manor house nearby. You know, that
Right.
kind of thing.
Okay.
eyes of the mother, why'd you do that?
Don't call me that. Otherwise, the
What
next
is-
stone is for you.
What does he mean by that? You steal someone's eyes?
I'll steal yours in a second.
I'd like to see you try, City.
I can fix it. That's fine. It's just I don't know why you did that.
Can
I wouldn't have if I did
Apologies
the
for
right
his actions, little one. And I go to the next door.
Yeah, going east.
Yes.
Yeah, you open it. It's very, not locked. No crazy thing going on. You step through and move from this room into the next one. You again have to walk through this sort of kaleidoscope room, hallway. A very strange sensation. This time it feels like you're walking for a while. Where the previous hallway felt like a few minutes and the one before that a few minutes. This one feels like maybe it takes double the time. So if maybe it took you 3 minutes to walk through the previous hallway, this one might take a little over 5 minutes, 6-7 minutes, something like that. Just feels like a little longer as you start moving forward. However, in this hallway, it starts to get warmer and warmer and warmer as you go from a relatively warm temperature of the greenhouse to a legitimate kind of heat as you get to the door and put a hand down to the sort of the thick handle that's on the other side of this doorway. You feel a great sense of heat coming from the other side of this doorway. Do you still want to open the door?
Do you recall when we learned how to absorb more elements? Was after do we know that yet?
It was
early.
after this because
Really?
it was early on. I think it was between either the last session 0 or the first one, and the first episode that we did. The session 0s, by the way, when we reference these for our dear viewers, we recorded 3 session 0s, which were little short prequel testers where I was testing the world, they were testing their characters and stuff, but they were generally canonical to the story. They took place during the year before the beginning of this campaign, and you guys kind of met and got to know each other in that year a little bit and were sent on varying tasks, including this one. This is essentially another one of those session 0s in a way. I don't think you have that yet, the absorb elements, because you worked on it together, and this is after you've done the session where you went into the Wriggle was stealing stuff from the town, and you guys went to the little cave, and he was in there going on about an evil Wriggle in a mirror, and then you went to the snake whispering cave thing, whispering cavern. And I don't think you guys were like that bonded yet. I think the bond, because you guys then spent some downtime between those sessions, because it was a matter of months between each of those sessions.
Right, yeah.
So I'm pretty sure you don't have that yet, yeah.
I'm impressed that you remember any of that.
I'm impressed I can literally sit up straight right now, let alone...
Yeah, me too. I would look to Cirrus and say, feel the handle.
Yes, I feel the handle, and it's hot, I assume.
Yeah, it's very, very hot. It is probably like a thick brass handle. Not just the handle. It's not like too hot to touch, but there is a great sense of heat coming from it. But also the door itself just feels like there's a great sense of heat coming from the other side of it.
Might be dangerous to go through here.
I looked at the proto-dragon, and I say, you are the curator of this place. Do you not know what's beyond this door?
Not always. It likes to move around. But sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, there are several options. This could be the Elemental Forge. This could be the Pit of Endless Fire. This could be what was very comfortably named the Hell Zone. Could be a lot of different things on the other side of this door.
Yeah, it could be the Red Pit. I don't know, though.
Okay, I personally don't think I like the sound of any of that.
Yes, perhaps we should head down a different way.
They're not all bad. Some of them are good.
I trust him.
Look at my book, which I've drawn a little map on. We only have one other way we haven't tried yet. If we do have to come back here, it might be wise to send one of the dragonkin in first. Alright, let's go back.
You do still have the wisp as well, Cirrus.
Right. Oh,
Not saying you have to use it. I just want to remind you that you do
No,
have a
thank
little,
you. I completely forgot. Yeah.
one use see the next room ahead ability.
I could use the wisp, everyone, to see what's in the room ahead.
Whatever's inside that room, I don't think it's quite for you or I, just judging by... Is the handle DM?
Mhm.
Does it look hot? Is it orange? Is it like that hot? That heated? No.
It's not like super heated, it's just that the sense of heat coming from this door is pretty noticeable.
Right.
Well, I could use it. I mean, there's no guarantee that there won't be another room down the way that would have a better use for it, but
How often are you able to do this thing? Protodrain.
once
No, not
only.
you. Bestow
Oh,
it upon
what?
us, I mean.
What?
What you gave to Cirrus, how often are
Don't
you
think
able to do that?
it's from him.
Oh, I didn't do that. That's a magic that was in that room. You can't have that again. Not
I
from
see.
there.
I think we know roughly what's beyond this door. And we do have another direction to explore. Let's do that first. And
Right.
if we must come back this way, perhaps we will use the orb then.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Okay. Yeah, you navigate your way back to the greenhouse, and then presumably through the greenhouse again, back out the other door, and back
Yes.
towards the altar of the first, the builder, the sort of plain granite bust of the older-looking man that gave you this ability with the black feather hanging from one ear. And yep, there's another door in here that will lead south. Presumably you open it and head in. As you step into this one, you start walking. Again, it takes a little over 5 minutes this time to walk south. The bizarre kaleidoscope of different versions of yourselves walking through different environments just spreads out endlessly. It's mesmerizing and kind of disorienting as well, as you look at the different fractal images of yourselves. Heading south, you come to a doorway which is this is a large looking metal doorway with sort of a panel in front of it made of a relatively thick but very clear glass. On the inside of this doorway you can see a strange set of pneumatic tubes and cogs and wheels that are turning very slowly. The handle of the doorway is also turning around every now and then. Maybe every 5 seconds it clicks into place, holds for a moment, and then the wheels and cogs start turning again and the handle starts turning with it.
This is a good one.
Oh, you reckon?
Mm-hmm.
I will wait for the click and open the door.
Yeah, you do so. Opening the, waiting for the click, and then turning the handle. The door swings open, the gears stop turning entirely, the handle remains in place as you turn this door. This door is huge. You maybe don't get the sense of it from this side, but once you open it into this doorway, you recognize now that this thing is a huge, very thick door made entirely of metal. As you start to swing this thing open, you look into a very sort of strange steampunk environment. There is a cluttered room ahead of you with mechanical parts and gears scattered all about it. There is a huge workbench in the middle of this room with a half-built automaton laying on it in varying parts. There is just stuff moving constantly. There are huge cogs and wheels turning around in this room that are just moving and pulling pulleys and things like that. Randomly bits of steam will just a constant sound coming from the varying things moving around this room. There are two little things moving about on the ground in this room. They're just kind of like lazily moving from corner to corner, almost like a mechanical little Roombas that are moving about in this place. When you step into the room, they kind of turn around and sight you, Thrakk. One of them just kind of goes like this. And it's looking at you. What do you do?
Okay, well, we haven't learned to dread that sound yet, have we? So
We would have known, but we would have known! No!
Does it look threatening?
It looks just... Both of them look different, but similar in their size, stature, and kind of design. There's lots of little brass parts on them, but they really are just bits of metal, scrap metal, that have been kind of welded and fitted to the side of it. They seem to have little legs or little feet on the underside, and just areas that shift and move constantly on them. They're actually shifting shapes a little bit, like one moment it's kind of a pyramid, the next minute it's kind of a cube,
Right.
they're just little metal things. They're really not, it's kind of indescribable now that I'm here trying to do it, but they're constantly shifting in shape. They stop, they turn, they make these noises to you, and they seem to be waiting for a response.
I close the door. And I would like to wait until the ticking goes around again and open it and see if the room is different.
You close the door from this side. You wait for it to...
Yeah, and then I open it again.
You open it again. No, not different at all. The little things on the ground were moving again, and then they stop, they turn to you, and they stop and look at you. And when I say look at you, I'm, open air quoting that. They stop and seem to be looking at you.
I
We'll call them
look
Roombas.
at our little friend, whose
Yes.
name escapes me.
Weird.
Yeard. These are the Clockwork Soldiers. They are small and fast, and they are defending the workshop. They're waiting for the command word from the Wizard of the Tower, which is either Hard or Thrakk at this point. You don't know the command word and don't need it, because they would never attack you. That's what's
And I
happening.
assume I do not know it either.
No, you just found out. The only thing you know about any of this is the bomb of info that Hard threw at you at the beginning here.
Okay.
I relay all of that to him, and so I don't know. I'm not sure what the word is. You could guess, but I doubt you'll get it right.
Pineapples!
They don't respond to Gildan or any of the others at all. They very much seem like they're kind of looking at Thrakk on the other side of this doorway.
Ragamuffin!
portal soup.
Copernicus!
Canonically exists in this world now.
Those are all really good words. Keep going. I want to hear more words.
Flabbergasted!
Oh,
Strumpet!
Strumpet.
Yes.
Yeah, so there's nothing from my time with Hard that would help me here, I'm assuming.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think Hard
So we've either
has even considered up until this point
right.
bringing you down here and explaining this whole thing to you. So I can't imagine that there's any real reason that he would have casually mentioned the password for the Clockwork Workshops, Clockwork Soldiers
Okay.
room of the many rooms.
As the soldiers regard Thrakk, I'm going to sidle past him and look to see if there are any other doors in this place. It seems as if that's the recurring theme.
Little knives pop out from the sides of these little boxes like a little pop-up pirate as soon as Sia moves into the room and starts moving around.
I think on seeing that, I would spin on the back heel and walk back to the back of the party.
Okay. They turn back to Thrakk.
Okay.
I believe this is yours.
Can I see any doors from where I am?
Yes, yeah. The room is not necessarily that large, so you can see the entire thing. There are doors to the east and west, as well as, you know, north, the one that you came through.
Right, okay. I take one step into the room. Knives?
The knives are out.
Okay. Do I know the name of this tower? Does it have one?
What have you been calling it?
No, just the tower.
Yeah. I've been calling it Hard's Tower throughout the campaign. You just call it the tower. I don't think you've ever heard Hard call it anything. You can give me a history check
Okay.
with disadvantage.
Yeah,
'Cause
I love those.
He did say some stuff at the beginning of this.
A 9. That's great.
9. You
I
have a +7
I
to
rolled
that
the
as well.
natural 20, the other roll.
The other one, yeah. Yeah, I don't think you know the true name of
Right.
this place. But what might upset you is that he did tell you it.
When we were talking up there. Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Well,
what that
that's
9
my
is.
fault because I have the memory of a cricket.
Yeah, that's why I gave you the history check, knowing you had a +7. But also, it's hard when the DM just throws a bunch of information at you suddenly, just a bomb of lore, to remember all of it. So I want to give you the option for your character to have remembered, but you rolled a 9. So
Right. Yeah, no, that's fine. Well, I step back out of the room and I look to everyone and say, unless someone has a good idea, we will either have to destroy these beings or go back to the room of fire.
We have one other room, we realize. Do we not?
No.
On the map, we can go west, but that's just to leave, right?
That's where we started, yes.
Okay.
yeah, top left is Yid's hutch,
Right.
which I would like to go back and describe better because my documents didn't work and it was the only room that I didn't write. And I couldn't do it from memory. So when you actually walked into that room, by the way, I remembered it was some sort of hutch, but that was all I could remember from my broken mind. I've been very unwell for 2 weeks. That's why there's been no show.
Seriously, it's okay.
But what you actually walked into, to just slightly retcon the first time you stepped into that, was a deep earth green hutch standing before you, 6 feet in height. A standing cabinet like this would usually be used to display fancy plates and bowls, but through the closed glass cabinet doors, you see instead many small rooms. There are staircases inside leading to lower and upper shelves. Each room is decorated meticulously, and there, curled on a couch, with his bone leathery wings wrapped around him, is a small skeletal pseudo-dragon. His eyes glow as he studies you. That is now canonically what actually happened when I just described a plain room and a hutch and a thing flew around the corner. From something that I read 2 weeks ago. So that's what that top left room is on the map. It's his hutch.
So you described that there was some cabinet that had meticulous rooms, like a dollhouse almost.
Basically, his hutch is a little dollhouse of his own making.
Would I remember seeing like the greenhouse room represented in the dollhouse?
No. I don't think so. It doesn't seem to correlate with the maze.
Alright. Well, I'm game clobbering these small things. Otherwise, we can always try and find out what's in the fire door. But I'll leave that to you, since it's your tower.
Is it necessary
did you-
to kill them?
Well, unless you have an idea for how to get around them, I believe they will attack us.
How
I
do you
suppose
kill...
we could sprint to a door and try to leave.
I guess.
I
I think kill might be a bit strong. How do you kill that which has no life?
Are you sure it has no life?
Well, I'm not here to debate that, cleric, but I guess running is an option.
They don't have souls. I mean, they're beautiful in their creation, but you know, the definition of life is a little loose here.
Very well.
All right. Whatever you wish, Thrakk. It's your tower.
What about Jordan?
I am barely paying attention.
Jilden's like struggling to unwrap a Werther's original behind you in the hallway.
In fact, when we were in the tavern, I was in the middle of knitting the hat that I was wearing right at the beginning, and unfortunately, you interrupted me, so now everything's tangled up, and I'm trying to unpick it.
So I looked at Jordan, and then for about 3 seconds I stare at her, cock my head, and then nod and say, well, I suppose we will have to deal with this. I step into the room and as confidently as I can pronounce, now, for some reason, Brad, I know how to speak Abyssal.
Okay. Yeah.
Would it matter, like, what language I speak here? These things. Do you think I'd know?
I don't know. What do you know of like automatons, clockwork things? Nothing. Then yeah, I don't think you would know necessarily. Whatever you think you want to do is just what you're gonna do. So.
Okay, I just step in and I say, cease hostilities. I am the custodian of this tower.
That was more than one word.
Okay. I think roll me a d20.
Okay. Do that. An 11.
Knives.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Are they attacking me?
No, there's just a bunch of knives that have popped out the sides of many different little kind of areas on both of them.
Right.
We'll just make a run for it.
I say the word hard.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Roll me a d20.
Okay. 4.
Knives remain.
Bigger knives.
4 knives.
Knives.
The
The
knives.
knives somehow grow.
Yeah.
A little bit of poison starts dripping off the knives.
Don't
No,
give away.
Magic
I'll,
knives.
I'll say, we'll try to get to one of the doors, and if they attack us, we'll have to destroy them.
Alrighty.
And I start walking confidently towards one of the doors.
Okay.
I will go to the western door.
Yeah, one
I'll
of them,
follow.
as soon as you step a few steps into the room and just start moving, striding across the room, there is a net that is fired out from this thing towards you. I'm gonna roll a dice here. Oh, I can't. Okay, I need to roll it manually. Let me. Oh no, it just hits you. Okay, cool. Yeah, this thing. So a net is launched across this thing with a 20-foot trailing cable that just, and there's this weight on the other end of it. The sound of like a weighted thing being like pneumatically fired out from this very small creature. As it opens up, it actually gets much bigger. It immediately just launches this thing out. You get the sense that this thing could actually grow and shrink quite a lot from this one net that gets just fired out from this thing. You are just caught in it instantly, which is insane to me, but it's what it says. And are wrapped up. Thrakk is just boom, 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 wrapped up in this thing, and then he hits the ground and rolls over a couple of times.
Oh.
Just bowlowed into this thing. You can make me a strength check to this net if you'd like to try and escape. Alternatively, someone else could try and cut him free.
Try
Just
and
a
bash
straight
the
strength
robot.
check.
Just a strength check, yeah, is what it says here.
I will.
You
A
go.
6.
Not out on a 6. No, you're struggling in this thing. Arms kind of like wrapped to one, to your sides like a straitjacket.
I would have followed him in shortly before he
Oh,
got
okay, yeah.
netted. Yeah.
The other one fires a net at you. Make me a strength check.
Oh
I
no.
jump off of her.
Yeah,
right
you're in the
before it
air.
hits her.
Yeah. Brrr.
I start walking
like
back towards
like
the
a
entrance.
A saving throw or just a regular strength check?
Just a strength. Just click the word strength.
Yeah, okay. 15.
15. You hit the ground. You're hit by this thing. You're wrapped up in it and
Yeah.
rolled over by it, and then you just you break out of it. One arm, I guess,
Boom.
gets out.
Yeah.
You pull this thing off of you. The little creatures that fired these nets at you, kind of like look over and sight up Sia. You said you were heading for another door.
No, I was joking. I was saying I'm heading towards the exit. But no. I'm in the back. I'm just with Jilden, I guess, and I'm just like,
Right.
Just watching.
yeah.
I thought he was
If they
supposed to
attack
be
it.
young and sprightly.
What, me?
No, the orc.
Oh, right.
The two creatures,
Shrug.
two little clockwork soldiers, just start rooming about as if they've done their job. They don't seem to be bothered by those of you that are in here anymore.
Okay.
But Sirius
I
is
land.
out now.
Sirius is out, kind of like pulling this rope off of herself as she untangles her foot from one part of it and gets this horrible net off of her. Thrakk is still kind of struggling behind her.
I land on Thrakk, and I'm going to use a little bit of my magic called Little Helper.
Yes, you have an ability called Little Helper. Yid has an ability. When you take the Little Helper action, two creatures you designate are granted aid and gain advantage on the next attack roll, saving throw, or ability check it makes to perform the task you're helping with, provided that it makes a check before the start of your next turn. So you have advantage to try and break out of this if you want to make another strength check. Thrakk.
21.
Yeah. What? How do you do this, and why is it because of Yid?
Okay. So, well, actually, yeah, you go ahead. You can explain it if you want.
No, yeah, you got it.
Okay. As soon as I land on the orc, I start sort of stepping with all of my little feetsies on the different parts of the rope, and as I do, you'll see the bits of the rope that I step on. They start to disintegrate just a tiny little bit, so that when you get up and you use all your muscles, you'll feel really strong because you're going to bust out of it.
Yeah.
All right.
There you go.
That's what I do.
And that's
I
exactly
tear
what you
it
do.
apart.
Yeah, you manage to unwind yourself from it, tear bits of it off. The little creatures are just kind of maneuvering around this room now. The sort of sounds of the creatures, they're no knives, no nets. They're just moving around, kind of, again, Roombering, just oddly moving from corner to corner. The gears of the room and the steam just kind of moving and making a little bit of ambient noise. But the room appears to not be hostile towards you anymore, even if, Sia tentatively takes a step in or something. They seem to have given up about caring about your presence.
I suppose they might be out of net or something. All right.
I could provide them with some more. That's quite fun.
You're gonna knit them nets to throw more.
Yes.
All right. I take one long step to the left and then step away from Jilden and I suppose walk towards the door towards the west where Thrakk was going. Do I sense anything from the door?
The western door?
Yes.
Give me a perception check.
Perception.
Dragonkin, can I get back on your shoulder, please?
Natural 20 for 25.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Do you sense anything from the door? No, it does appear to be almost exactly the same as the other one that you came in through, with the sort of clockwork mechanical designs to it. The turning handle goes around, turns and turns and turns, and then locks into place, and then turns and turns and turns, and then locks into place. Really, all that represents is that you can only turn it and use it when it's in that place. It honestly just seems annoying more than anything else. It doesn't seem like a very useful lock. But someone was maybe messing around and built these doors. The door itself seems exactly the same. There's no real way for you to, even on a natural 20, perceive what's behind the door, but you would presume, based on all the other hallways, that it's another one of these kaleidoscope hallways. But the door doesn't seem to be trapped or locked or anything like that. No
All
heat
right.
or anything.
I wait here for my team.
Okay. I will go through the door to the west. Yes, the west.
All right. You go west, and the door opens. You step inside. Another set of weird kaleidoscope hallways. You come to a door that is ancient looking. This looks like the type of thing that you would find on like an old dungeon or old tomb or something like that. The door is really just a slab of stone that sits in front of you that needs to be actively pushed open, like a sliding slab that you would push one way and then push closed again. We're talking ancient stuff. Who would like to attempt to do that?
How long did it take for us to get through the kaleidoscope stuff?
This one was another 5-6 minutes.
I mean, I'll try.
Okay, make me an athletics check.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Hold on. 1 second. I'll just, because I have a fear of rejection, so I want to read this spell before I cast it.
Right.
You mean like Thrakk or you? Thanks, bye.
I'll just cast knock to open it.
Okay. Does it open or unlock doors, knock?
The object can be a door, box, chest, set of manacles, padlock, or other object that contains a mundane or a magical means that prevents access.
Okay, nothing happens then.
Well, I mean, if the mundane means of preventing it from preventing access is that it's really heavy. Wouldn't it just open?
Okay, yeah, it does. Sure.
Excellent.
Slides open. Inside, there is a bunch of circles inscribed with ancient runes all across the floor here. There is magical energy pulsing from each of these things. Yid, you would know that these are summoning circles, and messing with them, or even sometimes just kind of getting too close to them, can summon up little creatures, little imps and mephits and things that will come out and at best cause mischief, and at worst cause mayhem.
So this place is really fun. But I don't know if it's the fun you want to have. Those circles, they can summon things, and it really doesn't take all that much to make them work.
What kind of things?
Things that are kind of rude.
You're just making it sound even more tempting. Want a snack? Or from a little seed bowl.
Throw it into my mouth.
I'm not very good at throwing.
Yeah, I got it.
Yes, I hope you like it. It's handmade. Anyway, what kind of things? I like rude things.
Where does it go? It's all bones.
It's what? There are methods that can come out of there. They're kind of. It's hard to explain. I mean, think of something like me, but not adorable. It's like long noses, and then they can have different affinities with the elements, and sometimes they're bastards.
All right.
Okay.
Most times they're bastards.
So avoid the circles.
Yeah, it's a room covered in these little circles, mostly on the floor, but you see a few on the ceiling and the walls too. The room itself just looks like a cave, honestly. It doesn't really look much like a room.
How dark is it?
You can see the doorways that lead out, though. The one that you came in and one at the south, and that's it.
I'd like to go to the closest circle I can.
Yeah?
Step into the room.
Yeah, you're just walking straight over to it?
Yep.
Okay, roll me a d4.
One.
Yep.
One, cool.
Here we go.
Roll me another d4.
One.
What have you done?
Wait, did that actually roll properly?
Oh no, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, roll me a
Okay.
d6.
Okay. 4.
A 4. There is as soon as you just get close to this thing, there's a crackle of energy. The rune kind of lights up for a moment, and this little thing rushes up out of the hole. It is a kind of twisted, it almost looks at first like a little wicker doll. This sort of creature rushes up, hues of brown moving across it, and then it flicks 2 sets of wings out, and a bunch of mud is launched at you. Let's see here.
I'm missing.
Roll me a dexterity saving throw, please.
That's a 4.
Okay.
Oh.
You... Oh, you're covered in mud. This thing just covers you from head to toe in mud. So much mud hits you from these tiny little wings that it runs down your body. It starts to feel like glue as you stick to the ground. It then buzzes towards you very quickly, and
Not again.
is going to
A little help.
scratch you for 3 damage. You take 3 damage as it rushes at you. Its little wings cut your cheek. A line of blood running down.
It's so
It
bastard.
starts flying around the room
Bastards.
very quickly. Would anyone like to attack it? I'll let
I
you have
swing
that.
my staff at it.
All right, give me an attack roll.
All right, using my quarterstaff, I swing at it for 15 to hit.
Yeah. Give me the damage.
And 9 points of bludgeoning damage.
You strike this thing, boom. It explodes. Now these things kind of usually explode into like a death burst and do a bit of damage, but this doesn't explode in that way. It just explodes in the air, launching mud all across this room, flinging at each of you. Some of you probably get on your clothes or on the walls or whatever. The mud that is currently restraining Jill then slowly starts to fall off of her, and you're able to move around again.
My snacks. Oh.
All right then.
I'll eat them.
Where to next?
Well, let's try to carefully navigate to the south without triggering any more of these circles.
I cast an eye towards Jilden.
I'm sorry, Thrakk. Can you remind me? Half of Moon is going to be decimated if we don't go through these strange rooms?
Likely. I don't really as usual, Hard was not the best at explaining exactly what we're doing, but I suspect we are repairing, and I look to the creature, Yid.
No.
We are
No,
repairing something.
it's not the journey, it's the destination. I gotta get to the wheel.
Right, the
This
wheel.
is just the way to go.
Okay.
Yeard. When I first came in here, I felt a great amount of, I suppose, energy. It's coming from the wheel, right?
Yeah, well, sort of. Yeah, down, under and around, and in. It's everywhere, but it's here.
All right.
It's just here.
But is the wheel like the point at which the over and around and under and in comes through?
Oh, that's where you need to go so that you can stop what needs to be stopped.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know how to stop what needs to be stopped?
It kind of depends. When we get there and then we look at the wheel, I might be able to help, but if not, I trust you guys. You can do it.
All right. Thank you.
I look at this creature with complete and utter, with a poker face, but beneath that very thin layer is just complete distrust that it knows anything about how we can fix this wheel. Because I have no idea what they're talking about.
Well, Yid is a pseudo dragon. He's not
Right.
a wizard
No.
that can comprehend the level of magic that presumably keeps this tower going.
But I do know it's magic.
Yeah, that he does. Okay, let's have everyone make me acrobatics checks to move across this room.
Oh, dear God.
If Yid is helping, he can give two of you advantage at his whim
Oh
and
yeah.
choice.
I'm going to help.
Acrobatics, not athletics.
I go to the turtle and I get to her feet and I touch her feet and I go, okay.
Oh!
I should help you. Your feet are slightly glowing. And then I look around and I go, I think maybe, who wants help?
It's acrobatics, not athletics.
Why is this happening?
That would have
I
been
keep
really
pressing the
great.
wrong thing. How is this happening?
Oh my goodness.
A 9 from
There you
Jilden.
go. Well done.
11
I guess
from
I
Siam.
would take the help.
Yeah,
Oh.
I think you should reroll.
Yid.
There you go. Put it on your feet, sis. There you go. Good luck.
For listeners, I accidentally rolled a double
An
21,
18.
but on athletics, and then I had to re-roll for acrobatics, and it was a 9 and a 7.
Oh my goodness.
Natural 20 from Cirrus. And an 18 from Thrakk. So the only person that actually fails here is Jilden. So roll me a d4 as you just... You sort of don't... It's not such a horrible fail, but you awkwardly step around one of these things, and it kind of lights up and crackles. Actually, all that happens is a little red claw comes out, a little sort of three-fingered hand comes out and reaches around the edges here. One of the little nails, the pointed nails, actually connects with one of your nails, and then its hand goes back inside the hole. You actually don't suffer any damage on a 3. You're welcome. You do make it to the other side of the room after deftly and awkwardly moving around some of these things, avoiding the ones that are on the ceiling. And Cirrus does it with a particular grace. But I'm not sure she's necessarily known for, but does
No.
successfully today. I guess you've got your... you have the ability to rest. What was taken from you? Wish I could remember my own campaign.
Relief.
Relief, yeah.
Relief,
So
yeah.
we're back to, you don't have bags under your eyes, and you're able to, you don't have just constant vertigo and nausea.
You're glowing.
Yeah, I'm looking fresh.
You're looking
I'm
great.
not like
You dance
a hair's
across this room.
a hair's breadth away from like yelling at anyone.
Yeah. And you guys make it to the other side, and there is another door here. It's another big stone slab.
I'm extremely envious of the way that she was able to navigate, because I almost fell in to one. I did one of these, and then Yerd had to like stick his little claws in my cloak and flap backwards to kind of right me.
Hummingbird sounds. Yeah, who wants to push this door open, or are you casting knock again?
I think that the first one there is serious.
Yeah, can I push the door open?
Yep, whoever wants to do it can make me an athletics check.
Okay. Okay. 22.
Yeah, it's easy. It's beautiful. She dances across this room. She places the larger of her 2 arms onto this stone and just pushes it. This thing slides open as if it had been pre-greased, and you guys are able to step through and start walking once again southwards through another one of these bizarre kaleidoscope looking hallways into the next room here. This room you step into is there is no door into this room. You just walk straight from the hallway into a very plain looking stone room with a very large golden bowl sitting in the center of the room here. Scattered all over the floor of this room are several colorful cut gems. There are 2 other doors to this room that seem to be magically sealed. There's kind of a warbling force field sitting over the doorways here. One has the word Manticore written above the doorway, and the other has the word Chimera written above the doorway. They're written haphazardly across the walls above these doors in like what looks like basic chalk. I have for you a handout. You have written everywhere else around this room, written in common, and what looks like kind of a childish scrawl, kind of like as if a child had gotten a box of chalk and was just writing all over the walls here, are lots of other words: griffin, dragon, unicorn, phoenix, Pegasus, Basilisk, Goat, Kraken, Sphinx, Human, Centaur, Lion, and then just varying scratches next to each of these writings: ruby, red, hexagonal, sapphire, blue, triangular, as if they were like annotated and notes were taken. Again, the room is covered in all sorts of gems that are on the floor, and there is a large golden empty bowl at the center of this room. What do you do? Here is on the handout all of the varying words that are written on the walls with all of the annotations next to them. And to remind you, there are 2 doors. One has the word Manticore very clearly written above the doorway, and the other one has the word Chimera above the door.
Are those words written elsewhere in the room, or is that the only 2 instances of it?
Yep, that's the only 2 instances.
The
words on the walls are just these ones that are in the handout.
Yeah. Is there do I know what a manticore is or a chimera is, and what creatures make up either of those things?
Yeah, anyone who wants to can make me a nature check.
21.
21.
9.
9 from Seer. Jildan 15. Jildan and Cirrus, you do know what manticore is. A manticore is a creature that's made up of varying different parts. It has a humanoid head, the body of a lion, and the wings of a dragon. You both also know what a chimera is. It's generally a 3-headed monster that has a goat, lion, and a dragon head.
Are the words written? I'm not sure I got the handout with all of the creatures that are written, so I'm
Should be, if I click this button, it should just pop up on your Roll20. Alternatively, you can click on the journal where your character sheet is, and it should just be there. It says Maze Puzzle Room, and then scroll. There should be an image of gems, but scroll underneath it. There should be words underneath that.
Okay. Got it. Okay. Sorry. Right. Let me see here. Okay, awesome. So I just go around and I find the associated animals that make up each of these creatures. So the goat, the lion, trying to remember exactly which ones. The human for the
I put it in our group chat.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Awesome. Yeah, so I'm picking up the gems that have been annotated to these specific creatures so that I can kind of like build a manticore with the gems and build a chimera with the gems.
You want to build a manticore?
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
You do
And there's
that.
one single bowl, or are there
bowl.
2 separate bowls? Okay, one bowl.
gold bowl.
Okay. Which room do we want to go through?
At this point, I don't think we have a preference. We're just going, right?
I walk up to the doors. Is there any feeling like we had with the fire door, for example, where one was hot and the other one was not? Or
Yeah, give me a perception check. The doors,
18?
by the way, go 18. The doors go east and south only, and north.
okay.
The way you came. North is just open. The other 2 are locked. You were going to say something?
I was just gonna ask. I've noticed you've mentioned like how long it takes us to get through the kaleidoscope walkways.
Yes.
Has
this
it
one-
always been the same the whole time?
No, to get from the previous room to this one, it was much shorter. Only a couple of minutes.
So, okay, couple of minutes. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Do we want to go? Was it west or south?
You can go east or south. Yeah,
Or
east
east or-
is
east or south.
is Manticore and south is Chimera.
All right.
suppose only you can decide, really. Nobody really knows what's inside, but you could with your little thing.
I'm going to use the sprite now. And I'm going to use it for east.
For east.
Yes.
Okay. You activate this sprite. You see it kind of. Everyone else would see this light up above Cirrus's head, but equally her eyes light up in the same kind of blue color. As you look through the doorway to the east, you can very clearly see through the door, and your vision kind of zooms, optical zooms to the next room over, and you get a good sense of what's in there. Very similar to the room with the previous bust in it. It's just another room with another bust, a bronze bust. Nothing else in there. The room itself is a little better decorated. It's kind of a pale, painted stone room, but there's no like creatures, there's no fire, there's no anything crazy going on.
Does this tell her how many doors are there?
Yes, it does. There is in this room there are doorways that go east again and south, as well as west, which would be the way that you would come from.
Okay. I think we should go east. There's a bust in there. It's very much like the first room that we came to. It feels like a checkpoint to me. Perhaps we can gain another blessing and learn more about another one of Yerd's masters.
Very well.
Lead the way.
As long as there's no more mud.
And this one was Manticore, right? And
Mhm.
Chimera was south? Yeah, so I put the gems that build up from the annotated notes that build up a Manticore into the bowl.
What gems would they be? Just to be
They would be...
pedantic.
Yeah. Okay, a Manticore is part human, so it would be a peridot. If I remember correctly, it is also part dragon.
Yeah, on the handout
You
I
said
added
it
the
to me.
stuff.
Oh,
Yeah, dragon and lion. So sapphire
thank you.
and turquoise.
Yes, yeah.
As you
that
throw
would be
these
it then.
gems into the bowl, they melt. And then the second one goes in and melts and mixes with it, and the third goes in and melts and mixes with it. As they melt, so does the door. And the sort of wobbling force field drops with it as well. The gems do not return. So this,
Okay.
you've used the dragon gem.
Okay.
Now, if you just tossed them all inside, would it have opened both doors? I suppose we could just keep the gems, right?
Let me just quickly check if we need... I assume you said that we needed the dragon. Yeah, we needed the dragon for Chimera, so we had to
And
make a
lion.
choice, one or the other. Yeah. So, I mean, you can take whatever gems you like, but I don't know if it will assist us in future. Perhaps it will.
Well, I have no need for the gems. I'm just wondering is all.
Right. Is Yerd still on my shoulder?
Mhm.
Okay, then I march into the next room and bring you to the bust that's there.
Yeah, you walk through the hallway. Only a short walk. This one, 2 minutes. And you step through a plain wooden door, but into a relatively well put together room. There are sort of elements of marble in this room, but predominantly it is just sort of painted pale cream and white stone, with areas of dark wood and stuff to give it some contrast. It's quite a nice room, but it does look a bit like an art installation, like a modern art installation or something like that. There's a bust here, a bronze bust of a male dwarf with a stern, angular face. He's got runic tattoos etched across his forehead. This is the altar of Borvok the Invoker.
You can get close if you want to. It's not dangerous. This is Borvak. He was a very... he was a very talented mage. He was really good when it came to, like, destructive spells. But he crafted them in a way that was... You wouldn't think destruction could be beautiful, but he would make it do that. I don't... It's hard to explain if you've never seen it. But if
Was
you
he a
get
master
closer,
too?
Yes, he was one of my masters. He was nice for the most part. I mean, he wasn't mean. He was just, he was a dwarf, and they get very focused sometimes. And I would like let's play. And he's like, oh, I'm busy right now, and I respect that and everything. But if you get closer to the bust, you're going to feel a heat, but it's not dangerous yet.
Yet.
Thrakk, would you like to do the honors?
All right.
That doesn't have to be just Thrakk. You all can get close.
Okay.
I step closer.
I'll
How
also
close?
follow.
Very close.
It's warm. Being near this altar, there is a very subtle heat coming off of this thing. Once you get very close, a very small runic symbol appears on the ends of one of your fingers, sort of on the back of a knuckle, whatever you call that. The symbol for flame or fire in those sort of Nordic runes appears on your finger. This is something, Thrakk, that you might recognize from old magic. It's it's a bit like the original basic, sort of Neanderthal way of using a scroll. This little rune will allow you to cast Burning Hands once. Once you cast Burning Hands, it will be consumed. You can keep this, by the way, and you can use it in a year from now, for example, or you can use it down here. So you have a tiny little tattoo on one of your fingers of the rune of Burning Hands. Now it's up to you if you did use it at some point and consumed this between this thing and when we jump back to the future. Otherwise, you can sort of just claim that you just haven't used it for any reason until potentially you might use it in the campaign in the future. But you will get one cast of the spell Burning Hands at any point if you'd like. It doesn't cost a spell slot or any components or anything like that, materials. Just lets you do it.
Do turtles have knuckles?
Let's find out, sonny boy.
I actually don't know.
Yes.
That's a good question.
On the end of it, like a little whatever you call your fingers. I mean, you've got like opposable
they
fingers
need-
and thumbs because you've got hands. So
She
Yeah.
has three. She has
To
three
have
digits, I think.
dexterity in my fingers, I must have knuckles. Otherwise,
I
they'd
think
just
you
be.
you have three digits though. You don't have
Nubbins.
thumbs, I don't think.
I was supposed to knit without knuckles.
She's got
I don't know.
pinchers.
Very carefully.
Very carefully.
Knuckleless phalanges.
Very
Little
carefully.
claws.
I have knuckles. Thank you.
Turtles have, like, in the artwork, they have proper hands.
Yeah. They're basically humanoid, just like with turtle exterior and a shell.
In the description, it says they have three claws, I think. But I was literally just asking that question as a joke and a throwback to when I asked if you had knees. I wasn't
Right.
actually.
all right, where do you want to go
No,
next?
let's dig
I got
into
it. I got it.
Well, you
It's
haven't
almost
told
midnight.
us what doors there are.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I sort of said it previously, but I need to. I'll remind you. It goes east, west, and south.
Right. Okay.
But
West
not
is where we just came from.
Not everyone want to get close. You can. He's really good bust.
I will get close.
Yeah, anyone who
He's
gets
telling
close to
me
this
to
thing,
get close.
you get the.
I'm getting the
ability.
rune.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
I think I hesitantly do the same.
Surprising.
Wait, that's not fair. I would want. Ooh.
Can I have another?
Doesn't work.
Wanted to see how many times you could press that button. There we go.
Yeah, but it only
Oh, my
put
fingers.
it, like you can keep doing that, but it only puts it in the same place. It's just overriding it.
It's called the Hands of Flame. What is it called again? Hot Hands?
Burning hands.
Thank you.
All right. Where to now?
Now, obviously, we as players see the grid, but do our characters know that, like, this is a 4x4?
No. From what you saw of the bird's eye view of this, and this was really normally, I've run something similar to this before, where obviously what you want to do with the maze is try and get to the middle. That is not the case here, because what is actually happening if we were to zoom out from this thing is you just see this huge shifting endless maze. It's just constantly moving about and shifting in like a weird way. So even though for you guys in here it doesn't necessarily feel like that, that's actually what's happening. The whole thing is moving around constantly. So I don't think you're aware of any sort of grid, and also there is I specifically didn't give it a center just to ward off the the sense that you would probably want to go to the middle of this before, and then find out that's not
Right.
the answer. So just one of these is the wheel. You just have to get to it.
So I turn to Cirrus and I just say, I suppose your guess is as good as any.
I believe the closer we get to the wheel, the shorter the trip between rooms. Let's
Right.
try going south.
Okay. You open the door and start walking south. It is a short trip. It is only a few minutes. Another 2, maybe 3 minutes max, but you step forward and into a confusing room at first. The entire room is it seems to be made of crystal. You can actually sort of see through the crystal walls and the crystal ceiling, and underneath outside is a sort of a set of meadows is what it would probably look like. It's very distorted through this crystal, but you can see a blue sky, a green meadow with some fields of sort of yellow, and in the distance some lavender. The room itself is very bizarre, because the door from the side that you stepped through looked like a plain wooden door, but once you step through and look at the other side of it, it just looks like a piece of crystal that would slot into the wall and be completely lost. You wouldn't know where the handle was unless you were holding on to it. So the room, you can't tell where the doors are immediately just by looking, because it just looks like a perfectly smooth piece of almost glass. At the center of this is another one of the busts, though. It kind of raises up out of the floor on a kind of a pedestal, and then kind of transforms into like a part statue, part bust. Again, crystal, with a very graceful and delicate face of a human woman, kind of looking a little upwards. You can see that the crystal here is adorned with very intricate jewelry. She has hair that is flowing upwards and wisping with the crystal, looking like water. The crystal of the bust itself shimmers and moves magically around the actual part of the hair and the face here. This is the altar of Callista, the enchanter.
Yes, this is a good one. She was very into her looks. And mine too. She used to cast magics on me and give me different skins each day, and it was sort of a game. You know, I would guess and say, I'm going to be silver today, and she'd go, let's find out, and then I'd be green, which is fine. Green's good too.
I'm sorry about that.
No, it was fun. It was no. It isn't a bad thing. You know, she just, I mean, for herself, she was very into the magics that would sort of change how she looked. She was already very beautiful, but she would use all of her magics and just make herself even more beautiful. So she was, I'm not saying she's vain or anything like that, but maybe she was a little bit into herself.
I walk up and touch her bust.
Oh!
Or the bust of her.
No, it's there too. It's fine. It's
I'll be
alright.
touching the bust.
You do see there's like a glimmer, like a shimmer that moves across this thing. The energy that runs across this gets to where Sia's hand is, but you see that it doesn't quite make contact with Sia's hand. The energy moves around, swirling about where the edges of his fingers and his palm is, and then it dissipates away. Almost, I think, Sia, you might get the sense that you were rejected here.
Typical. I just shake my hand off and turn around, and I just look at Thrakk. Might be for you.
It returns, it retakes its shape.
Yeah, it didn't change shape. It's just there was a glimmer that moved towards Sia's hand and then went away.
So it
from
was
and
like
got
a
away.
hologram or something, and then it.
Yeah, or like if you imagine like a school of
Just the
fish that
hologram.
would move towards something and then just suddenly turn. That was kind of what it would look like.
Are there doors to the east and west in this room?
You can't tell where the doors are because the whole
Oh,
room is
really?
like perfectly flush crystal. So there are doors in here. You know, because as you step through and turn back and close the door behind you, or maybe you didn't fully let it close, but you can see that it looks like crystal. So when you go to close this door, you can't actually see where the door is that you even walked through, even though you're aware that it's there.
Interesting. I'm going to focus on the arcane in this room and see if I can figure out what's going on.
Okay, give me an Arcana check.
A 24.
Yeah, this is child's play. It's just a very minor set of enchantments and illusions that sit over this this room itself. You can see that there is a doorway that leads to the east in this room, and that there is an enchantment over the bust itself. That is specifically for people who are of the wizard class, or at least people who would understand the way that wizards interface with magic. You can see the outline of the door. And this is you
Right.
basically attuning to that weave again, by the way.
Okay. Can I also... do I know what to do with the bust at all?
Just touch
Or-
it.
Yeah, I'll touch it.
The shimmer moves and runs down the bust, and you see the magic leave the bust and move across Thrakk's hand and arm. As it moves up your arm, it slows and gets sort of more transparent, and eventually it completely dissipates. You can immediately and permanently learn either Mind Sliver or Minor Illusion.
Minor illusion.
Okay, you got it.
Doesn't
You understand it.
Thrakk already? Okay. Did Thrakk not already have minor illusion?
No.
Okay.
Today,
that's cool,
by
yeah.
pure chance, he got
Mm.
Major Illusion, I think, and
I
Minor
got
Right.
major image just,
Major image
just
and-
now.
and
Minor illusion.
Minor Illusion.
Yeah. So there was no door to our west?
Correct.
Oh. Well, okay. In which case, that means that the room to our west is the only dead end so far, I tell the group.
Oh. Well. Where should we go next?
I mean, are we capable of going to that room to the west? It's through the other door, through the Manticore door. To get through that, we need the gems, and I think we've used the dragon gem, so
Yes, that's
there
right.
may not be a way to get there.
I don't believe that is where we are looking to go. Let's continue east.
I smirk at Thrakk as if he knows where we're actually going and follow him.
Yeah, you find the door, Thrakk. You feel a hand down one side of it and find the handle and open it, stepping into another one of these hallways, the bizarre kaleidoscope hallway. As you step and start walking down this one, it's a short walk again, and slowly but surely a door appears in front of you. The oddness of this door is that it's perfectly circular. On the door itself are what it almost looks like a ship's wheel, spokes that kind of make a strange pattern on this thing. At the center of the doorway is a very small hole, almost like a little porthole that you can look through. There's no handle on this thing, but you get the sense that it will push open very easily. Looking in through the porthole here, you can see on the inside of this a grand and circular room with a gentle red hue on the other side.
I push it open.
Yes, you've come to the wheel. And you step into the center of this tower. You make it to the room you are looking for. The room here is huge. As this door creaks open, you step into a very large circular room. There is a very gentle red hue that's cast over most of this room. However, oddly, natural light seems to be kind of filtering in from upper windows. Outside those windows, it just looks like a sort of an endless sky. There are a few windows on the lower floor as well, and maybe as you step in, you can see out of one. It does feel as if you're very high up, either floating, flying, or at the very top of a tower or something like that. Nothing but endless sky, white clouds. The walls of this room are adorned with intricate runic patterns that sort of hum with latent energy. In the center of this room stands a colossal capstan, which is the thing that you, on a ship, everyone pushes and it might bring an anchor up. But it's this enormous thing. It's a marvel of both magic and engineering that, regardless of your understanding of what you're looking at, you can tell this thing is very well crafted. It's a mechanical masterpiece that is a complex web of gleaming gears, enchanted pulleys, and intricately interwoven ropes that all converge into an enormous rotating wheel. The capstan's metallic surface at the bottom is etched with arcane symbols. Each cog and lever is sort of pulsing with a faint ethereal glow. As it turns, the machinery clicks and whirs in a sort of harmonious precision. There are arcs of magical energy that are sparking between certain components. Intermittently, there are these radiant light bursts from the capstan's core that envelop the entire room in a shimmering aura that briefly distorts the reality. It completely shifts where you are and what you're looking at for a flicker of a second, like a flashbulb. Underneath the wheel itself, and you'd have to look down into this, is a pool of sparkling pure mana that rests, reflecting the room around you in a deep green color. This is very rare. To find magic in such a way that it pools and it becomes almost physical. There are only a few spots around the world that you would find something like this. Above, and at the very top of this room, is a vast crystal dome that reflects the capstan's kind of glow, projecting a bizarre, mesmerizing dance of light and shadow that sort of just hints at infinite possibilities of where the tower might move to. The very air in this room, the moment you step into it, vibrates with arcane energy. However, The wheel itself, the capstan being separate from the wheel. The capstan's on the ground. I think it looks like it can be pushed. The wheel is sitting in, sort of up in this machinery. The wheel is wobbling in place. There are sort of arcane sparks that suggest it's sort of stuck and malfunctioning. There is a giant shard of ice that has been wedged between the wheel and the wall of the room. Hard's work. He's holding the wheel in place with this kind of arcane ice shard from somewhere else in this tower. Yeard, it's rare that you come to this room. For the most part, it has always been regarded as a room that must not really ever be messed with. All the other rooms are fine. There are endless rooms in this tower that can be used to test magic, to build clockwork creatures, to summon things, to fight elementals. But this room is one that is a work of precision, and that must not be really messed with in any way. To come in here and see that the wheel is off, even by a small amount, I think immediately registers to you that it is dangerous and broken and very wrong. You are aware that the wheel needs to be realigned both physically and magically. It is not just off of its sort of central axis in a physical way, but also in a magical way. That same thread that Thrakk has been constantly interacting with is also disturbed in this room.
So what you would see, I start to flutter off of the dragonkin's shoulder, and I start to fly forward. And I turn around towards them in the room. Say, I have to be very serious here, and I'm very sorry. This place is special. You all can feel it, I'm sure. But this is where you need to be. I don't have the tools or the knowledge that is needed to correct this, but I know that the wheel is off right now. It is going to be all of your responsibility to respect this place and understand that it is your strength combined in order to fix it. And I look over. For you, Orc, it is going to be the most on your shoulders. You have the most magic understanding. And I can feel that within you. But I need you to also trust your friends here, as they should trust you, and to listen to each other. And please be careful. And then I slowly fly out of the room.
Thrakk, can you make me an investigation check?
Yeah. Did he change colours there?
He has been changing colors.
Constantly changing colors, yeah.
Whenever he talked to each of us individually, he changed to our color. So you green, me purple. Stuff.
Investigation, you said?
Yeah.
25.
25. Yeah, you look over this room and it just makes sense to you for some reason. Regardless of your studies and genuine understanding, just the innate workings of this room just sing to you. It's just one of those moments of just perfect understanding. Regardless, you understand both how, not necessarily in a way that you might be able to build this yourself, but just the way that the magic and the engineering and the intent of this room come together into this sort of perfect creation, and you can figure out pretty quickly how you can fix this thing. The first thing that needs to happen is that two people need to climb up and lift that wheel back into place. It's going to be an awkward climb that requires both dexterity and strength, both to climb and to replace the physical giant wooden wheel that's sitting up in this mechanical marvel. There's going to be somebody that needs to mentally hold the enchantment in place. That will involve placing their hands into the mana pool below the wheel and essentially making repeated wisdom saving throws. That would, they just need to be the person who sort of tanks the magical energy that is going to emanate from this thing, as you presumably will need to reset this thing. You can designate someone else to do this, but no one else knows how to do this. But you'll need to magically reset this thing. The wheel, turning the wheel itself is not actually a physical thing, even though there is a physical capstan there. You're going to have to place your hands onto the capstan, attune with the magic of the wheel, and then use your arcane energy to align with all 8 schools of magic, and then one by one weave each thread into the arms of the wheel. And when that's done, you can slowly push the wheel back into position, and that position is the position that represents Moon, which is where this tower should be right now. So again, you need to basically, between you as a group or whatever, designate 2 people to climb up, physically put the wheel back into place, 1 person to mentally hold the enchantment in place, and 1 person to attune with the magic of the wheel.
I would look to Cirrus and say, I think that you will need to use your abilities as a cleric and put your hands here. And she's to put her hands in the pool, right?
Yep.
And hold the magic together. You 2 will need to put this into place. And then I would look to Jildan and say, perhaps there's a form that would be better suited for this. And then I just walk over to the capstan.
Okay.
Do you want me to take the brunt of this?
Are you talking to me?
So yeah, I was talking to you and Cirrus.
I suppose so.
What do you
Seer,
mean by take the
you're
brunt
strong
of
as
this?
well.
I thought the orc just said I should go up there and help steady the ring, right?
Yes, both you and Jildan should, but I think Jildan,
Right.
perhaps you would do better in a different form.
Maybe surprised. I am quite strong. But I put my mind to it.
Okay.
All right. Worth a shot. So how are we doing this? All together at once? What's the order here?
The people that climb up and need to lift the wheel back into place have to go first. Then the other
Okay.
2 will do it simultaneously. Whoever is climbing up needs to first make me an acrobatics check to climb up there.
All right, Jildan, on go, I guess. 3, 2, 1, click.
You see Seer just deftly move from one thing to another. He purposefully makes sure not to place his feet or his hands on anything that looks like it might interface or interrupt the wheel and the mechanics here. He's just moving, he dances upwards. Eventually, kind of like a pirate hanging off the side of some rigging on a ship, he looks down. Jildan immediately puts a giant turtle foot onto a pulley that whips the left side of the some of this mechanical stuff down. The room distorts as the wheel lurches a little bit. This entire room just it is one of the most horrifying things to experience, because everything that you understand about this room, where your feet are placed, where your hands are going, what you're looking at, just completely shifts and inverts, including how you feel about it. The size of how you feel, who you are, completely shifts entirely. Jilden, roll me a d10.
2.
You take 2 bludgeoning damage as the room kind of returns back to the shape that it was in, and a part of this machine spins and hits you in the side of the cheek. Make me another acrobatics check when you're ready.
You okay?
Don't be afraid to use your strengths.
Did I assist by throwing rope down from where I am?
Yeah, do you have rope?
Yes, about 50 foot by this point.
Yep, you sort of maybe find something that's a supporting element of this. Throw a rope around it, tie it, and then throw it down for Jilden. You can have advantage on this, Jilden, this acrobatics check.
14.
A 14 will do it. It's not exactly pretty compared to what Seer did, but with the rope and you being a lot more careful after experiencing that, you kind of figure out a way up. With Seer on one side, Thrakk probably just directing you guys to a position that would make sense.
Fantasia style.
Yeah. The 2 of you can make me athletics checks to actually lift this huge wheel, this enormous cog of a wood, back into its actual physical position.
All right, you call it.
And 3, 2, 1. Lift.
A 19 and a 12 is just enough. The reality distortion happens again. The sparking arcane energy near the wheel explodes into light, and this whole room kind of just shifts in a horrible and bizarre way. The 2 of you that are on the ground see this in a completely different way to the 2 of you that are up close to this wheel. The 2 of you next to this wheel feel your entire being shifted out of some form of understanding and reality and back. The 2 of you on the ground kind of just see this bizarre bubble of distortion. However, the ice shard that was being held by Hard breaks and shatters, but the wheel is lifted up. As the 2 of you return to a kind of understanding of form, you are able to lift the wheel back onto all of the points and places where this wheel is supposed to sit comfortably, rather than the kind of off-kilter places that it was found. However, you do have to be a little more careful with this part. I'll need another dexterity check from both of you. This is just a dex check.
A straight dex check.
Yeah, just
I'll
to
let you go
carefully
first,
replace this wheel onto all of the points that it needs to be on.
I'm just checking. Can I do emboldening bond?
Yes.
Can I cast emboldening bond so now everyone can add a d4 to this roll?
Okay.
You first.
Okay. Alright, this isn't my strong suit.
If only there was a way that you could be better at this.
Look, I don't have many options for dexterity. I think Thrakk.
It's a 3. You can add a 4 to
Plus
that,
d4?
which is a 5.
You have to roll a d4.
22.
Yeah.
I did.
Right. Do you think that in
Yeah.
this strange place, my time magic would work?
That's a good way to find out.
I would, after seeing her, it looks like she's about to break her total
Bumble.
knees. We'll put quotes around those. So I manipulate time and let her try to take that step again.
Yeah, roll me a d20 first.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Interesting.
13.
You do this, but it doesn't consume one of the uses of it.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, you see Jilden lift this thing. You see the distortion, and you see Jildan replace it awkwardly, just slightly off where it needed to be. Seer seems to be kind of doing it a lot better on his side, but Jildan kind of replaces it. There's another bizarre burst of light, and you see Jildan grabbing at her head. There's a little run of blood that comes out from one of her nostrils, and then you turn time back again, but it doesn't seem to exhaust you in the way that it might normally. Jildan, you can re-roll this. Dexterity check.
I noticed the blood, and
You don't have it anymore. He turned back time.
oh, is that for okay?
Just
cool.
purely
Okay.
what Thrakk saw. He saw you fail and take damage, but you didn't.
All right. I wild shape into a direwolf. And
Okay.
sort of
Can a
try to-
direwolf kind of hold on in the way that you need to be holding on up here? You're kind of, you guys, by the way, are up in this thing like
On the rafters.
yeah. You're like pirates in rigging right now.
All right, fine. I'll be a spider then.
Okay.
Be
Yeah.
a giant
You
spider.
turn into a giant spider.
I hate it. I hate it so much. Are you happy? Thrakk, is this what you wanted? And I use my spidery limbs in which to
Yeah.
influence this role.
Whoa.
The strength.
Seventeen.
Could be like
The
this
s-
more often.
The strength of your spider legs struggles a little under this wheel as you transform, but you're enormous, so it holds, and you two are able to slowly lower this thing back down onto all of the points that it needs to be on. As soon as you do so, you feel this thing sit in place, and there's a sensation in the room of that kind of reality distortion, that thrum of off arcane energy. It depletes a little. There's a sense of calm that comes over the room, but not entirely. This is not a process that's completed, but this part is. Seer and Jildan, you can stay up there if you want, or you can begin climbing down. At exactly this moment, however, Thrakk and Cirrus have to begin their part of this thing. So one person must mentally hold the enchantment in place, and the other one needs to do the attune with the wheel. I'm assuming Thrakk, you direct, and I'm giving you all of this because you rolled like a 25 on this to understand how to do this perfectly.
I'm attuning. She's holding it together.
Yeah. So the first thing that needs to happen is, Cirrus, do you put your hands into the pool of mana?
Yep. I
This
do.
is the most bizarre feeling that maybe you would ever have had. And I think you've probably had some strange experiences in your life. But to put your just plain hands into raw mana, just the source and the fuel of magic, does something to your senses that I think would feel almost euphoric. You kind of hit a bizarre state of euphoria. It is more so than connecting with the angel. It is more so than finding a purpose in life. It is a physical sensation as much as it is almost a spiritual one. Your hands feel like they're on fire, but in a good way, a tingling way. Your nerves that run up your body become completely alight. It feels like you spread wings out of your shoulders, and the room itself falls away from you as you begin to glide on a sense of pure, undiluted magic. The palms of your hands, as we look at them, begin to glow with like a white light in this thing. You need to make me a wisdom saving throw here.
Okay. Actually, just a quick clarification. Would it matter if it's only one hand that's in the experience?
No, you're right. Yeah, would be
No,
one
okay,
hand. Sorry.
okay. No, it's okay. I also said my hands and missed that.
Yeah.
26?
Damn. That is a success. Okay. So, at this exact same point,
What relief will do.
yeah. At this exact same point, Thrakk, you have to start sort of turning the wheel. And again, this isn't a physical thing.
Yeah.
You place your hands onto the capstan, begin to attune to the magic of the wheel, and then you begin to align the arcane energy of the 8 schools of magic one by one, mentally weaving each thread into the arms of the wheel. The first check will be an Arcana check.
Yeah, I think my hands were already on the capstan, and I'm watching as Sia and Julden are doing their thing up there. And as Julden transforms into this half portal, half spider creature that I've not seen before, I think you might notice in his eyes a glint of appreciation and fascination. And his, but the expression might be one of hunger as well. And then, as the piece is put in place, he closes his eyes and focuses on the task at hand.
For clarity, is Jilden's form, this spider form, is it literally half spider, half turtle? Like, does it look like, like a turtle's half body with legs coming out of it?
Yeah, I mean, much like the other wild shapes, I imagine there's quite a strong element of turtle still in it. So,
but does she look like it's very important that I'm asking, like, does she look like she's a humanoid with a spider coming out, like a mermaid, but like spider?
I think more the body is like more of a shell. It has that shell-like appearance, but the legs, whilst it retains like a green sort of scaly appearance, they're quite spider-like still.
So
and the face is still
right.
spider-like.
So she's a spider, not a.
Yeah,
okay.
mostly just a very weird spider.
Right. It's just very important as a drow. Okay, cool. Never mind.
Okay.
Be that Arcana check.
Do I have the +4? Who did you select for that?
Who has the emboldening bond?
Me. Hold on.
It's 3, right? You have to pick 3.
Yes, but I think
Oh no,
that
it's people
right
who
now
are
it would be
peace with
2.
one another.
But it's equal to my proficiency bonus, which would have been 2 at that time.
Yeah, I think
So-
everyone has it.
Okay.
Everyone has it. Okay.
Yeah, I'll just say everyone has it.
Okay.
They're actually
Alright.
working together really well for once.
So a 25 +3, so a 28.
It's the
28.
first and last
Arcana.
time.
Very much a success as you truly begin to understand how this magic works. It's unbelievable that this thing exists, that the way that this tower was built, this blend of different magics, and by different magics I mean not just the 8 schools of magic, but there is divine magic from the angels, there's almost otherworldly magics, kind of planar almost senses that come from this thing, this tower, that is a perfect blend of sort of space and time. The second wisdom save now needs to be made by Cirrus as you continue to now simply mentally hold the enchantment in place. The tower's magic, while Thrakk threads these endless needles, needs to be just held, and that is through you right now.
Okay. 18.
18, another success. You have become ribbons of skin and flesh, and underneath it there is, what does your soul look like?
Oh, that is a very good question. Oh my. I think my soul is like a very small pin light, and it's directing a point of white light that would be familiar to the color of the magic that she uses whenever she does her magic. But it is a pin light connecting to somewhere else and something else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there. The ribbons of your flesh and your mortality, your ego strip away from you, and there's nothing but this pin light. that remains. Thrakk needs to make me an insight check. He's left at exactly the point we needed him the most.
I'm still here. An insight check.
Yep.
Okay. I'm gonna do the D4 first. The 3. So a 14 in total.
14. You thread the 8th school of magic through this wheel. There is a sense of understanding that washes over you. And by understanding, I don't mean by this wheel, I mean everything. Whatever, if you wanted to at this point think about something, you would understand whatever you wanted to understand about it. The sense of knowledge that floods through you in this moment is unbelievable. You have a task to complete. You can complete the task, or you can give in to that sense of knowledge and see where it takes you.
Ooh. Think I'll have to roll for this.
Okay.
I think I'll roll wisdom, and a fail I would give in. Wisdom saving. Or just a straight wisdom, I think.
Up to you.
11.
Another
It's
double
impossible to
11.
tell what that means.
You can take the +4, by the way, right?
Well,
This
this
was
is just a me roll.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I'll give in with that.
What do you want to know?
I can know anything I want.
You are knowledge. You've lost a corporeal form here. You've become nothing more than a sense of knowledge.
This is before I know about the end of the world, right?
No, yeah, right. Yeah, no, you don't know
I
about
think
it.
it is. Yeah, we don't know about that, and I've also not given up my envy.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how to... I don't know if you can do this. I want to know how to turn into a spider.
Turning into a spider?
I want to know how to do what Jilden just did
It's nothing.
in front of me.
It's absolutely nothing. Compared to the things that you could be capable of. You could transcend time and space. You could go back. You could go forward. You could stop time. Turning into an animal is sort of basic first mage magic. The type of thing that is just druidic in nature. You can just summon up the ability to do this. It is very old magic. It's very nature based. It requires sort of an attunement and an understanding of the way that the world was created. It is creation magic in that way. It's not too far off divine magic, the type of thing that you might find with angels and the gods and things like that. But yeah, you could just do that. It's an innate thing. This is that's child's play. It's finger
As I
painting.
realize how easy that would be for me, I want to know how the gods came to be.
That's a difficult one. That's where turning into a spider is finger painting. You're now trying to concentrate on the most complex and enormous painting. I'm talking Michelangelo Sistine Chapel times a billion. And as you start to focus on this and try to figure out what happened, you need to go step by step. You look at the angels and what they are. There are angels out there that are just these bizarre creatures, these soulless beings that exist all across this world. They're not gods, but they are the children of gods. They don't really know they exist exactly, but they are the beings that sit between the mortals and another set of more knowledgeable, conscious beings that are these gods. There are knowledge-based gods out there, one of them being Ceridwen, a mirror that sits in a hidden forest way out east of here. As you focus on this mirror and recognize this mirror, you see yourself in this mirror answering your own question. What are the gods? Who are the gods? Where are they? They're not here. They don't exist on this planet. They don't exist. They're literally not here at all. There is absolutely zero connection to them. Where are they? And another question folds in on itself. Well, they came, they created everything. They left these beings here, but where did they go? There is a sort of an infinite set of possibilities that spread out among the varying different answers that spring forth to you. The sense of knowledge that's flowing into you is so much so that you ascend the point of an angel and you become an element of these divine beings known as the gods here. There are more than just planes of existence. There are sort of full-blown worlds that exist. One of them is a world that contains the gods. Another one is a world that contains angels with souls. This one is the world that contains angels with no souls. The gods are elsewhere.
Are you... the gods are not here on this planet at all. Were they ever?
They created this place. Yeah, they were here.
Where did they go?
Their own planet.
Are they all there?
The ones that are still alive and still active. They're beyond ancient. The sense of time and scale on what they are is nowhere near something that makes sense with just our basic understanding of words, but yeah.
Do they still have a connection to their angels?
Yes. Both
Can they
sets.
feel them?
Yes.
Are the angels, the soulless ones, are they just an appendage of the actual angels on their planet?
No. They're all children of the gods.
Are they just soulless creations that the gods made in the image of actual angels?
No. They are just part of a great experiment almost. They're a test.
But they are different than the angels on their own planet. The angels with souls.
The angels with souls are part of a world where the mortals were not granted souls and the angels were. You are part of a world where you were granted a soul, but the angels were not. And that was the gods' plan. That was how they wanted to see their world. It is at this point, Seer and Jildan, looking at Thrakk, he has blood running out of his eyes, his nose, his ears, his hands, the skin on them is melting. His eyes roll up into the back of his head, and he begins to seize. What do you two do?
Is that just something he does?
I swing down from the rafters with the rope I gave to Jilden. I try and get to Cirrus.
Cirrus has her hands in this mana pool. There is a huge amount of light coming from her hands, but I think in a similar way to Thrakk, her eyes are rolled up in her head. She doesn't look like she's fucking choking on her tongue. Thrakk looks like his head is quite literally about to explode. The veins on his head are popping out. The blood vessels in his skin are beginning to burst all across his face and hands and arms.
Is he touching something right now?
He's touching the capstan, yeah, and it's flaying the skin off of his bones on his hands.
I try and tackle him from it.
We see Seer run across the room. He reaches out, leaping forward. As his body connects with Thrakk, we see another figure move in from the doorway, a cloak moving behind them, this red cloak with some gold trim on it. A Goliath, the form of Hard, rushes at the capstan. That's where we end tonight's session.